told you one of the most followed conservative voices in America, Candace Owens, announced a quiet family vacation in Russia. She was going to go see the cathedrals. She was saying it's a little faith tourism with her husband. Nothing wrong with that. And a handful of researchers did something that I said yesterday was almost embarrassingly simple. They just read the program. She was listed in as a speaker at the Kremlin's flagship forum. One of Vladimir Putin's headlines, a few names down from Vladimir Putin, is the Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin. Now, on that same roster is Candace Owens, and she said she was going to meet Alexander Dugin and maybe talk to him, yada, yada. Well, this is really bad, really bad. The thread the researchers pulled didn't lead to her, however. It led back to him, the man they call Putin's brain, who wrote back in 1997, the way to break America was to feed divisions and flatter its urge to retreat from the world.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 17 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 18th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Just hours ago, President Trump addressed the world with lethal action in Iran. 350 million American voters in the USA. He's going to destroy the Shia Muslims in Iran until they realize that, unlike the rest of the presidents, starting with Carter in 1979, who pushed the nuclear bomb button in Iran, and the murders of innocent Persians who were taken over by these monsters, the first act of the Shia's savagery took place in 79, thank you, Jimmy Carter, by taking 52 American hostages in Tehran. Being a little edgy, they only held on to them for 444 days, giving them back to America soon after Reagan's election. The roller coaster got more and more dangerous as presidents backed down on the 20% Shia takeover of Iran, who got braver and braver when the Obama administration came. He toured the Arab world on an apology trip, then rewarded them with billions, that's Iran, billions of American taxpayer money, followed up in his third term with Biden and the auto pen, dishing billions of U.S. tax dollars to Tehran to get hostages back. Iran knew this was their window of opportunity to fame and fortune to the tune of $1.5 billion return for each hostage delivered back. On 10/7/23, they attacked along with Iran and along with all their Houthis and everyone else. Even the UN took part in 10/7/23. They attacked on their promise to kill every Jew from the river to the sea. Finally, Bibi took over this dance of denial, as I like to say, because he was somewhat in denial. Sometimes you have to put your foot down to get a leg up. And now Trump has taken over. Thank you, Trump. Thank you, God. And God, please continue to bless the USA and Israel.
Then he also casts Russia as the holy restrainer in a final war against the satanic West. And that satanic West and the Jewish Antichrist that will come from apparently America or siding with us is going to be fought by Russia, the right Christians that have teamed up with Islam. Okay. And I told you how this idea written in Moscow can end up in your earbuds in Ohio listening to a podcast, and it's called narrative laundering. You strip the fingerprints off the message and you slip it in the mouth of somebody you already trust so it doesn't sound like it's foreign. It sounds like home, and voila, okay? The payload was a single engineered question. Does your faith come first or your country?
Okay, we're here. The show's on. Hey, how you doing? How you doing in the northeastern part of the world? Let's say, are you all singing "Oh Canada, why can't you keep your fire safe?" Because all over the northeastern America, even down to Chicago, very close to Missouri, people can't breathe. I talked to a guy near Chicago yesterday. In fact, he's going to be on the show. That's Richard at 8:40. He's coming on the show. JJ's going to be here before that, 8:07. Chris Adamo, 9:30. And Sam, a guy from California, running for House. And finally, we're going to have my good friend and a guy who hates me sometimes, but that's okay. And that would be Mark and Pat McCloskey. So we've got a great show coming up. But you know, it's very interesting to see what's happening with Trump last night. That was a very, very interesting way of taking it, because the other thing he did was he pointed his fingers at all the previous presidents and also the Congress, Senate and House, of what these people did to cheat on the elections. They got it set up, they got the proof, and the indictments are going to come down pretty quickly, I believe. They only have, a very small time to do this, but apparently this is a done deal. This is going to be very interesting the next couple of weeks, especially with the midterms in. And I see this gentleman sitting across from me, and I know this guy. Yeah, look at him. He's a great guy. He's born in, let's say 258 years ago. Is it that? Yeah, I guessed it right. Good. 258 years old. And he was there, 250 years old. He was a little kid, but they liked him, so they took him along, and he probably had some input into the Constitution, because they weren't that much older than him, quite frankly. And he's an expert on the Constitution, and here he is in Rolla, Missouri, being on my show. That's very special for me. Please welcome John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Oh my God! Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Hey, how you doing, JJ?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Apparently, you watched Trump's speech last night.
I did.
As did I.
What'd you
Let
think?
me tell you something that disgusted me some. It's not about his speech, but it happened that I was watching it on CBS. And 2/3 of the way through the speech, CBS cut him off and had some idiotic talking heads blabbing about his speech. Now, I immediately switched over to Fox and watched the rest of it, and then I played it back so I heard the part that CBS had cut out. This is the most powerful man in the world. This is the President of the United States of America. How dare you cut him off and have some idiotic blather commentary from your stooges in the studio? How dare you? This 30 years ago would never been heard of. And shame on CBS, you lousy traitors, you unpatriotic bastards. Shame on you. Shame on
You're
you.
not alone. NBC and CNN didn't air it at all.
Doesn't that disgust you?
Oh, on ABC too.
Trump
ABC.
derangement syndrome
Yeah.
has turned into a pandemic.
Yeah.
How dare you people do that? This is the President of the United States. He deserves your respect. I don't care if you like him or don't like him, but shame on you for doing that. So anyway, I did get to hear all the speech because I played it back. And I have not yet gotten to whitehouse.gov, but I will today, and I will read all of the stuff that they have declassified.
Yeah, Lisa reached out when he said that, and it wasn't on there yet. Is that right?
No, it wouldn't load because there were too many inquiries.
Yeah, okay.
I tried it multiple times. It does load.
I imagine 330 million people trying to get into
all
that
at once.
server at one time might be kind of difficult.
But boy, there's got to be a lot of nervousness
It loaded
all over the world. This is an all over the world thing because he blamed China, he blamed North Korea.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't? Who didn't fix this thing? Even Venezuela got into the mix. You know?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, like you said in your monologue. There's an awful lot of stuff that has to be looked at, and I'll be looking at it with some diligence today. It surprised me a bit, the breadth of what he released. I expected him to make some noise about election integrity, and he really lambasted him. John Thune, I imagine that the Senate switchboard is being overloaded today by people calling and demanding that he at least get a vote on the SAVE Act. Doesn't it bother you a little bit that he's been dragging his feet? He keeps turning around and saying, well, we don't have the votes. We don't have the votes. Son, you don't know if you have the votes until you vote. This is not that difficult. Well, even an idiot like me can figure that out.
Yeah, I think they kind of know. I think they don't want. Yeah, right. And I don't know about this guy. Trump picked him basically, and he's staying with him. And I don't know what these guys can do and can't do. Remember, Lindsey Graham was very good at this. It's a whole different way of politicking is being a senator versus a president. Believe me.
Yeah.
Right.
And Lindsey Graham was fairly good at playing the game.
Yeah.
And it's a shame he's gone.
I thought he was a rhino until I realized that he wasn't.
Well, he's playing the game. Apparently,
he was being a senator.
Apparently, there's some secret handshake and a decoder ring that you've got to have to be able to do this stuff well.
It's a funny fraternity turned into a women's dorm, as well as you might have a few of the transgenders in there. Who knows? It's a mixture.
It's way more information than I signed up to get.
Sorry for that.
But he did push the SAVE Act some, and it disturbs me that you've got 80+% of the voters in this country that are for photo ID and for our citizens voting to the exclusion of non-citizens. How hard can this be? It seems to me that it would be a simple up and down vote, and our Senate is making it into something that's.
And he put it very simply: if you don't want this bill, you're saying you want to steal elections. Period.
Yes.
End of story. And it's so much the truth.
That is the argument that I would make. That if you're against this, then you're for cheating. And why would we want you in our government if you're for cheating?
And if you're an illegal alien, we don't want you in the country at all.
He mentioned in his speech the Georgia election, and John Ossoff and Raphael Warmack might actually be not legally elected. if what he is alluding to is true. Now, I've got to read all of this stuff yet, but it seems to me like he's confident that he's got the goods on these guys. So the question is, what do you do now? I'm not sure this has ever come up in our country before, where you have some evidence that a couple of folks stole an election. What do you do with them now?
Well, that's an interesting point because it's an old story and all that stuff. Well, he has said that this is tight. They have tight information about what these guys did.
Yeah.
And they have all sorts of evidence against them. And they got this guy who's at the helm now of the DOJ. He seems like he's a tough guy, and he's a former Democrat, and he's ready to go.
Maybe he saw the light,
Well,
Maybe.
well, apparently, but he also worked as an attorney, I believe, for Trump. But he's recused himself where he could, and where he didn't have to, he didn't.
Yeah.
It's not like remember when Bobby Kennedy was somewhat in that position?
Indeed. And look what happened to him. He died.
Well,
yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
This was quite a speech last night, and it came pretty fast-paced. I will have to play it back again today and take it apart piece by piece, but it appears that the man is, at least he believes, he's got the goods on these folks. Now, here's the question. Will there be indictments? Or will there be an awful lot of talk like there has been in the past?
This is coming out of the president's mouth. It's not coming out of Bondi's mouth, who screwed it up, by the way, in my opinion. She screwed it up. I mean, you can't sit there one day and say, we got all the evidence, and then day after day, week after week go by, and nothing happens, and you don't even have an explanation for it.
Well, she stepped in it.
She certainly did.
She was exuberant about having some evidence, and she stepped in it. It happens. Sure. Good Lord, I've stepped in it on this show a number of times in the past, but they didn't fire me.
Yeah, no. I'm still writing the book on it.
Yeah, well, it's a novel, and nobody will buy it.
No.
Nobody's going to believe this.
When you come on the show, people listen, all right, because they know you know what you're talking about, and you're very frank. Although that's not your name, John Jeffrey is. You're very frank about how you emulate yourself towards this audience. They like
don't
you.
Call me Shirley.
Yeah, even the young folks like you. I don't understand that.
I can't understand why anybody would like me. I'm an old curmudgeon.
Oh, I like you.
Hey, the SAVE Act. One last dig on that. It appears that they're going to try to pass this. That would be the Republican leadership by using reconciliation. And I believe they called it Reconciliation 3.0. Why'd they call it that? Because 1.0 and 2.0 didn't go anywhere. Now, we have a House or a Senate parliamentarian that apparently is unelected position and establishes the rules for the Senate. Why Trump hasn't fired her, beyond me. Surely he has an ace up his sleeve somewhere, but they're going to couple this thing up with some defense spending and some homeland security and election security. Kind of bundle that all together and see if they can't slide it through as a budgetary item.
As you said earlier, though, this is a done deal according to what Americans voted for. This is an 80-90% thing. Yeah, we ought to have IDs to be able to vote.
Yeah,
they have a picture ID saying somewhere that indicating that we're a citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that difficult, is it, Dave? You and I have this figured out.
Yeah.
Why can't our Senate? Well, that tells me that our Senate is pretty thoroughly dysfunctional and pretty well corrupt. And I think the folks that are dragging their feet on this ought to be primaried.
Well, I think what's happening though is you have some of these people, a lot of these people who are Democrats, they have many more seats in the way of getting over to the Republicans, and Republicans do to the Democrats.
Yeah.
So if they keep going this way, they just might get clobbered in the Senate, and it would be totally unexpected because that's usually not the way it goes in the
Yes.
midterm.
That would be the opposite of the way things normally go. The incumbents generally get lambasted in the midterms.
Yeah.
That may not happen this time. There's an awful lot of Democrat seats that are coming open, and you may get some young bucks in there that will not toe the line the way the Rhino Democrats have.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Rhino and Democrat in the same sentence. I should have my mouth washed out.
Well, wait a minute. They're not really the same. So,
well,
the real traitors are the rhinos because they're pretending to be Republicans.
Well, it's almost the same thing. John Fetterman. Now we're doing a little free association here, but John Fetterman, when he was sworn in the Senate, I thought, what an idiot.
Yeah,
and had a stroke and had all these problems, and now the man is claiming to be an independent, and he's going to leave the Democrat Party if they don't stop lambasting Israel. Good job, John. That? I'm glad that you saw the light. God smiled upon you.
Yeah, who knew? I mean, he liked this when he was, I guess he was, what was he, a mayor or something of Philadelphia?
I don't know what his background was.
But and I never had a hint that this guy, I mean, he was weird. He was always wearing those hoodies, and he still does. But you know, the stuff that's coming out of his mouth now, I never heard that before. Oh, he actually got into office.
Yeah,
he goes the other way around. They talk big, and then they fade off into the rest of the Democrats.
Yeah, what a surprise that this guy is actually swinging back towards conservatism. And oh my God, he's a pariah as far as the Dems are concerned. Of course, the radical left wing runs the Democrat Party now. And that's another thing that has bothered me some. I know a few Democrats, and a lot of them I don't particularly like, but I tolerate them. And they're aghast at the nastiness coming out of their party and the craziness that they're supporting. One thing, the men and women's sports, every Democrat that I know, which are not many, okay, not very many, have said, what kind of insanity has caused this to happen? Men and women's sports, who the hell came up with that idea? So yeah, even the man on the street Democrat is saying, "What happened to my party?" And Fetterman is proving that to be the truth. He's saying, "What happened to my party?"
And so are the big dogs. You know, the guy from he's from Louisiana. You know, the tall guy. I forget his name, but he's saying, "This ain't my party. This ain't the party I know." And he.
Yeah, you talking about James Carville?
Yeah.
Yes, Crazy James.
He's pissed off at them. He's pissed off.
Well, he's got a right to be. They've gone nuts. And I'm afraid he's gone nuts too, but it was always fun to listen to what he had to say.
He's always been nuts. Yeah, and he says occasionally some good things, but mostly he's just a backward nut is what he is.
Well, let me tell you something about Minnesota. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Minnesota has had the Somali fraud and the Governor Walz backwards, insane talking. And Minnesota has turned into a cesspool. Well, Scott Bessent, who is our IRS head, is saying, you know, we're going after the banks now, and we're going after the middlemen, and we're going after the folks that helped grease the wheel to have all of this fraud happen. Now, this is something kind of rare because you don't hear about IRS prosecutions very much.
Yeah,
IRS has traditionally been kind of a quiet outfit.
Huh? JJ, our signal has gone out.
Your Wi-Fi, JJ.
There we are. We're back.
Okay.
Was that on your end or mine? Yes.
I think it was yours, I think.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Are you with me, Dave?
See, now he can't
Yep,
hear.
I can hear you.
Now
Maybe
you
it
can.
was on my end, but actually,
Yeah.
since I got fiber, I've never had a problem on my end. So I plan on blaming it on you.
I plan on
Scott
taking
Bessent is going after these folks.
all guilt on that, and I just point my finger at JP. You know, he's going to point the finger at my wife.
Okay, I'll point my finger at him too. Shame on you. I may have lost a couple of words of wit here. This is a terrible thing.
You might have sworn
but
your
Scott
way off the
Bessent's
show.
going after these folks. And,
yeah.
Oh my God. It's so rare to have the IRS publicly say, we're going after the banks, we're going after the middlemen, we're going after the shell companies that help to perpetrate this possibly $1 billion worth of fraud. And Tim Walz, poor guy, he's just not smart enough. He should never have become a governor, because every time he opens his mouth, stupid falls out of it. And he's saying, well, we're going to help the IRS with this. Come on, Tim, you've been hiding this stuff for years.
Yeah.
You don't tell me that you're going to help him. Give me a break.
Did you see that he gave a pardon to a guy who was
a rapist,
Chinese guy, a child rapist who raped a boy or a girl, huh? A 9-year-old for 3 years.
Yes.
And he lets him out of jail. I mean,
gave him a governor's pardon.
And he actually went on air and argued the case for pardoning this person. It's like, well, he deserves another chance. Another chance to do what? To do
How about Tom Homan going after him to deport him?
Yeah. How about that?
How about
incredible.
that? Walz, and like I said, every time he opens his mouth, these stupid things fall out. Yeah. And to think that this thing was going to be the vice president of the United States if Kamala Harris had won?
Wow.
Are you serious? This is Dumb and Dumber. How is this? Yeah. How could they possibly even consider these people for those positions?
Now, who is the head of the IRS?
Let's see. This is Scott Bessent.
Bessent. All right. He also said something. It wasn't during the speech, but it was after the speech or before. I forget. It was last night. Mm-hmm. I was tired, and I heard him say that I've never told anybody this, but 2 days after I was confirmed as the IRS head, he had an assassin try to kill him.
I don't doubt that a bit.
Yeah, but he never mentioned it, and nobody ever mentioned it in the mainstream media as well. But he did last night.
Well, good.
Yeah.
You realize that the Dems have decided that it is okay to perpetrate violence on folks that they don't like, and frankly, they don't like any Republican. I'm surprised they haven't come for you and me. They're going to get another surprise if they do.
Thank you for making me first target. I'm so grateful for you.
Well, you do 3 hours of a show. I do 20 minutes, so you're guiltier than I am.
But you're more popular than I am.
No, I don't think so. That's the fan club that I pay.
We got to get you back on TikTok where you were killing it.
This just amazes me.
Yeah, young people, basically. Yeah. So
yes. Let's divert for just a minute to Iran. Iran has been on and off as the headline in the news and the headline in the newspapers for some time now. And Donald Trump knows that he is attempting to make a deal with people that will not uphold their end of the bargain. He knew that going in. All of us knew that going in. These people are liars and cheats. So what did he do? Well, he's bombing the hell out of them. 6 days worth of bombing the hell out of them. He actually took out the IRCG headquarters the other day, which is something they hadn't bombed before. and apparently took out quite a few of their big shots. Well, if you're going to drop a bomb, you might as well kill as many of the big shots as you can. But he's serious about this. Now, if you happen to be an Iranian and in some sort of power, I'd beware if I was you. I'd go find a little hidey hole someplace and pray that the Israelis in the United States are not coming for you.
Yeah.
He said he was going to do it.
He said he would. See, they were playing. They're playing this game like they played everyone else since 1979, since Carter. They've been playing this game, and they win every single time, except for when they gave up some hostages when this first started because Reagan got in office.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little scared back then. They weren't as tough as they are now, they think. But they didn't see this coming, number one. Number two, who the hell is left that can make a decision there?
That's a question that I've had.
Yeah.
If you're
Who's
killing
gonna make
off
the
all their
decision?
leadership, who are you negotiating with?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it amazes me that they keep saying nah, you can't do anything to us, and Trump bombs the hell out of them.
Well, that's what was needed, definitely, and he is specifically going to operational situations. He's not trying to kill people unless they're in the top range of the Khomeinis. He's being justifiably not wanting to get his own people killed either. Us.
Yeah. Well, he has had very, very few civilian casualties in this because he's been doing surgical strikes. And I wonder, you don't get much news out of Iran, but I wonder what the Persian on the street thinks of all of this. Their economy has been wrecked. Their oil exports have gone to zero, or very nearly so, because they can't get the damn stuff out of the country.
Yeah.
They're pumping it out of the ground. They're putting it in the tanks, and it's going nowhere. Now, that's a little bit bigger problem than what just saying the words sounds like, because I came out of the oil field right out of college. And frankly, when you shut a well down, you got a problem bringing it back online. It's not as easy as just closing it down and reopening it. So he's done long-term damage to their economy. And it's going to take them decades to recover from this thing. And yet these stubborn bozos insist on shooting rockets and insist on drones and insist on trying to hit civilian ships in the Strait of Hormuz. One would think that by now they would realize that every time you poke this bear, he's going to drop a ton of stuff on you.
Believe me,
at some point,
not all of them want to die. Not all of them think that if I die, I'm going to get 72 virgins. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of these guys trying to get out of there.
Just remember that those virgins are all guys.
Yeah, probably.
They are.
How did that happen? Gee.
Yeah, Muhammad lied to him. And they're all guys. So when you go to meet Allah, it's going to be ugly.
And he really got mad at the Jews because the Jews wouldn't join up.
Yeah.
And he that was it. He tried to get them to do it. He was going to go to a kosher menu to get them to do it, and they says, "No, we got God.
Good
you're
job,
not him. You're not him." So he decided forever that they were going to kill Jews because of that. Give me a guy who married a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Not only was the guy a creep, he's a pedophile. And you're going to tell me this is the standard bearer for your religion?
No, that's their God. That's the highest person they have. He's God to them. Okay?
Which reminds me.
Yes.
I think it's Monday or Tuesday, the 21st, Republican Women's Gathering. Yeah. I fully intend to come to that. I want to hear what they have to say. So,
wonderful. We'll have Don Mayhew there to answer questions and talk about his stance on the race. So, and I'm sure the amendments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me see the clips here. We got a few of them, I think.
Oh, do we?
Patricia Oden Maxwell, sounding good, looking good. Go team.
Hello, Pastor Pat.
John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Who the hell's? Oh, that's you. He's ready. He's ready. Okay, ready for anything. Yay, JJ from Patricia Oden Maxwell. Good Friday, Dave morning. For I forgot to introduce her, my lovely bride, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Weinbaum, and Roy Maddox. Good morning from Oklahoma. And now, my friend, I have to go because what I have to do is get a commercial stuff in here for our next interview, and that's going to be Richard C. Jeffries. Okay, thanks, JJ.
Have
a great weekend, my friend. Great appearance. All right, those numbers were jumping up. All right, here we go.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Bob Willis, an author and writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Proud Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, we're back. We're back, and I got my next guest coming on. And here he is. He's got a disappearing hat, or it's his head. I don't think he's really human. I think he's an alien of some sort. You know, it's kind of weird talking to him because you're seeing his head. It looks like it's coming and going. He is an author, though. He's a patriot, poet, and expert of all things time travel and space aliens. Please welcome all the way from, is it Coughing, Chicago, or is it just regular Chicago area? Richard C. Jeffries. Okay, yeah, there you go. Is he hooked in? Are you hooked? Can you hear? I can't hear him. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay, I think that's it. Hello?
Hello?
You see, I hear it over here.
Yeah, it's coming through the phone, but it's not.
Huh?
What do I need to do? Oh, boy.
Okay, this is a fun time in the show. And you know what? I'm going to read something to you because it's going to go away for a while. And this is from this is from a magazine, which would be the no, I can't do that because I'm upset about this. As a source of inspiration, Seleucus gives me thoughts that fit competition situations. I remember that in the semifinal of the 1998 Brazilian Cup, in the match Santos versus Palmeiras, I handed the players a note with this quote by Dave Weinbaum. If you can't excel with talent,
I can't hear you.
Win by effort. And so that went on my name into this, and that was what now you're seeing as the World Cup. So that is my little claim to fame. So how we doing?
We're going to get him.
Yes.
All right.
I am here.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, there we go.
Holy cow. All right. Get him to the right level. Okay.
All right. Can I put it on speaker here?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Hello.
Author, did you hear me at all? giving you the
introduction? I did. I heard.
So if he heard that, but he couldn't respond.
No, he could hear it, but the connection between the phone somehow wasn't working. That's why I had to recall him and reestablish the line.
So it's done. It works now.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Good. All right. So I don't know. Should Trump take over for Charlie Kirk to convince young people not to go communist?
I believe that there should be a law instituted that bars communists from holding office in the United States.
Well, what about libertarians? I mean, how do you restrict by you know, I would like to say but you know,
Dave, Eisenhower had such a law.
Did he? What did he call it?
It kind of phased out after a while, but he did have that in place.
Well, then it becomes a religious thing. We're not going to have Buddhists be able to vote, and it'll go to Jews and Muslims.
Well, think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Do we want Shia Muslims?
Well,
rising to the top of our governance.
In this case, they're not citizens of this country. A lot of them, they came in fraudulently, and the case could be made that they're anti-Americans. That could be made in every religion. So it
when
goes
their
back to
ideology goes cross-grained to our Constitution.
Yeah,
I think that's the red line.
Well, you almost have to wait for them to commit a crime for you to do something like that. And you got a point, but if you're a Shia Muslim, by definition, you are going to kill Jews at least. And you are going to overturn governments at the best. And that seems to be what's taking place. And right now they're succeeding, obviously. Look at Mandami in New York City.
They are. So I believe communism and Shia ideology go hand in hand.
Yeah. I want to put my wife in jail for interrupting this interview. she thinks it's funny. Damn. Oh my God. This is like crazy. So now Trump has accused China. Let's go to bigger countries. Because I don't know the answer to the first one, quite frankly, but it's a hard thing to do. Why do you think it phased out? I mean, it was Eisenhower's choice. Why did it phase out?
I believe that there came a time when we were secure that it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, it is happening now.
It's happening.
Yeah. Anybody that's not a citizen should not be able to vote unless it's really amazing standards. And there aren't that many, You got military and you got a few other things, emergencies, even vacations. You can come back and vote or whatever, but not to this level. Anyways,
exactly.
Trump also during his speech, he accused China, Russia, and North Korea of election fraud. And he claims that over 250 million votes were affected.
Mike Lindell was right.
Mike Lindell, Rudy Giuliani, and all the ones that
Giuliani,
all the ones that got dumped on. Good luck.
I think this is going to affect our relationship with China. I think.
Well, yeah, Trump keeps talking about what it's his best friend.
Yeah.
President Xi, what a great guy.
And they rolled out the red carpet.
Oh my!
And all the pomp and ceremony and all that stuff, and
so
and now he's facing his friend Xi and saying, hey, you know what? You've messed up with our elections here.
But he knew this. He knew this. And we all kind of knew this, that they had done it. And they also have done the disease. That now that now that we don't have to have these masks, these horrible masks on, well, at least, now that it's been a couple years since then, if you're living in Chicago or the East Coast, you can use those masks again because
as a matter of fact, I took my dog out this morning with a mask.
You can be, were you singing, "Oh, Canada"?
Well, you know what? That's a type of terrorism too, I believe.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, well, when are we going to take them as a state and fix that problem? They had the same problem. They had the same problem as L.A.,
California.
Yeah, yeah. They won't.
What it is they refuse to do proper forestry,
right?
And they allow their forest to go up in flames naturally because they're protecting their green ideology.
Yeah. So after the Dems vote to strip Israel of weapons, what do you think Israel is going to do? What should they do?
This morning, I really wanted to talk about Israel's ace in the hole.
Okay. Oh, let's hear about this one.
I'm referring to their nuclear capability.
Yeah.
And, whether they receive another weapon from us or not, first of all, I think that they're able to make their own weaponry. They have a robust economy, and I don't think they're as needy as they once were. And I don't think Bibi Netanyahu wants to continue this relationship where the United States is giving them everything. I don't think he wants that. So anyway,
but then this is a two-way street. First of all, Israel has all the intel there, not anything like the CIA. They're much better off because they have people who can who move into areas who represent those areas, and they're still loyal to. I mean, they look the same. They say the same language, and they stay loyal to Israel. And so I that's a big deal, and that's a big deal for us to give to the United States. And they're not only just selling weapons to Israel. Israel is making those weapons better. Let's say Iron Dome better. Okay, what is that worth to America? Believe me, their investment in Israel, and I call it an investment, is one of the smartest things we've ever done. If you'd only listened back 20, 30 years ago about this Iron Dome thing, and all the Democrats turned it down. Reagan was wanting that. Remember that?
I do.
Yes.
There's been an underlying anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party for decades. And it's just now coming to the forefront.
Well, it's kind of interesting. There are a lot of Jews out there. They lived on a kibbutzes. I got a cousin on a kibbutz, and they're liberal and they're socialist. And a lot of those people, moved to different places like the United States, and they keep the social.
They brought their ideology
socialist ideas over, and they're starting to have a reconciliation in their brains, I think.
I hope so.
Because they're voting against people who want to kill them. It's very simple.
They're voting for people that want to kill them.
That's what I said.
Case in point.
Yeah.
This Mamdani in New York.
Yeah.
My God. He's a virulent anti-Semite. And
he's Shia.
They voted him in.
Yeah.
They voted him in.
Yeah. And it wasn't even close. How's that? And a lot of Jews voted for the guy. It's stupid. And now all the rich people are moving out of there. All the people it's incredible what they're doing to the city, and to free buses for everybody. That ain't happening. Hochul, she's a disaster. They're all who's going to come save New York?
As a matter of fact, Dave, they're talking about moving Wall Street out of New York.
Yeah. Hey, Missouri isn't bad. Missouri is a good place to be. Let me tell you. Whew.
It is.
I like Miami. Miami,
but they're talking about bringing it to Texas or Florida.
Yeah, well, not bad choices, I'd say, seeing as there's no tax in. Is there no tax in Florida? No income tax for the state, or is that? Am I thinking about Vegas?
No, I think that he just instituted it out there.
Oh, really?
Or he's trying to. Yeah.
Okay. Who?
I've heard.
You're talking about the mayor?
Talk.
The mayor, or you're talking about the governor?
The governor.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't hear that one.
So anyway, let me get back to the nuke thing here.
Okay, let's hear it.
So the nukes have pretty much become the cornerstone of Israel's security,
Yeah.
And they don't flaunt it, but the Israeli nuclear arsenal is meant to be the last resort deterrent.
Yeah.
And only used to guarantee their survival. You think about the Jews here, and they suffered the Holocaust and the 73 Yom Kippur War, right?
Yeah.
And so they think of their nuclear arsenal as survival insurance.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research on this.
All right.
I learned that
go ahead.
Israel's nuclear weapons stockpile is about 90 to 400 nuclear warheads right now.
Uh-huh.
And they can deliver these things by air, land, or sea. Israel's first nuclear weapon, the first nuclear weapon that they ever got was in 1966.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
With the help of friendly nations.
Like
nobody's ever come out and said it, but
like someone we know very well, and yet we won't name them.
And Israel became the 6th country of 9 nuclear armed countries.
Uh-huh.
So they've had it for a long, long time.
Well, let's go back to 1973.
Yeah.
That was a surprise, a big surprise, just like 10/7. 23, which I compared to my good friend the Rabbi Moshe, and said, "What's his?" I said this on October the 6th in 23. I said, "So what's there to stop them from attacking us like they did in 1973?"
It's the nuclear deterrence.
Yeah, and he didn't say that then. He says, "Well, we're in good shape. We have really good intel, and we've got Biden's doing okay and all that crap." And sure enough, 6.5 hours later is when they attacked. 6.5 hours later, all right. But in the 1973 war, they were so taken aback. They were really surprised then. They didn't have a lot. And what happened was, what was her name? I forget the name of the prime minister back then. It was a woman, an older woman, tough lady, but she got bamboozled by this. And she was thinking of going to the nuclear option. They got Kissinger over there. he was with who was 1973? That was Nixon. Yeah,
Nixon.
Right. So sent Kissinger over to talk to her. Golda Meir is her name.
Golda Meir.
Yeah,
right.
and she he says, hold on, let's see what he was stalling her, and he says, let's see if we can get some weapons here for you. And they did. They had him and Nixon not only got Israel stuff, got him weapons, and Israel, once they got the weapons, they were unbeatable. I mean, you couldn't beat them. They had such good strategies that they bamboozled these guys all over the Middle East, all over the Sinai. I think they won the Sinai.
I almost see that as a miracle.
It is a miracle. It is a miracle. I mean, their whole existence has been a miracle. Okay,
it's
way back.
It's almost equated to what they did to the Egyptians back in Exodus.
Yeah, it's Moses, it's David and Goliath. I mean,
Yep.
They don't go out and conquer people, although they were supposed to when they first got to Israel. They were supposed to get rid of some of these people that were going to kill them, but and God eventually punished them for that. He says, you got to get out and kill these guys.
You remember Jericho, right?
Yeah. I moved though recently.
Right.
Recently, I moved to Skokie, Illinois.
Yeah, right.
That's right. I grew up in Skokie. It was fun.
Oh boy. Anyway, so I found out that Israel's nukes, they have about 25 to 100 of the Jericho series intercontinental range ballistic missiles, okay? And they can target any place on the planet.
Yeah.
That's pretty robust.
Well,
Go ahead. They've got 5 Dolphin-class submarines with a total of 20 launch tubes. And these could fire off I love this, Popeye nuclear cruise missiles. They call them Popeye. Yeah.
Why, were they smoking a pipe?
I don't know, but I think they greased the tubes with olive oil.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, no. Go. Yeah, wait a minute.
Well, you know from funny, you bastard.
Hey, I thought it was funny. It was him. He didn't think it was funny. Speaking of funny, I gotta say hello, Rick Henderson, all the way in Salem, Missouri. Does all the bits and the clips. I got moved forward quickly by my own self, and I started my monologue or I ended my monologue because I saw JJ's picture, and I says, I got to get this guy on. Now this guy comes on, and we have trouble with the phones. What the hell's going on, Lisa? It's good to have your wife to blame. Yeah, there you go.
Crickets.
All right. So Israel is well.
So now go ahead.
No, you go ahead. But
they have one squadron of F-15 fighters.
Yeah.
And one squadron of F-16 fighters with nuclear payloads.
Yeah.
So that's their air deterrent. And then, in addition to all those nukes, they developed a neutron bomb warheads and nuclear artillery rounds for tactical battlefield applications. So, they could use them on the battlefield if they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's so much more you don't know what they have. There's so much. I mean, who came up with this thing where you have these little kind of speaker phones? And I mean, you don't even know stuff like that.
That tickles me every time I think about it.
I mean, it's sad in a way, but still, if you look at it, what you want to do is you want to kill the leadership and leave the civilians alone. That's perfect. That's perfect. And they did this over a 20-year period at least. A 20-year period to get inside of this company.
Long range thing, yeah.
Yeah. and they executed it right at the last moment, and it killed a whole bunch of leaders. They were stunned. That was the turning point, I thought.
They had them in their pockets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but generally they when they went to answer it, it was like in their face, and they even said that when you get this, because they were playing with the fact that they may not hurt these guys at all with these. They said right at the last thing, hold this close because we're not sure about the sound. Okay, so it killed a bunch of people, lamed.
Oh my God!
But these are the leaders of pure Jewish killers, Hezbollah mainly.
Hezbollah,
yeah. Hezbollah mainly.
They were literally calculated assassinations, as they're holding stuff.
Yeah, and that's what Israel has to do that, in my opinion. I don't like to go out and promote murder, but you know what? When you get a bunch of people like in Australia, where you have a bunch of Jews doing a ceremony on a beach in Australia, and a couple of Muslims turn out there with rifles and stuff like that, and they're shooting down Jews left and right, killing some, wounding many, and their country doesn't send out the police. All right, I wouldn't turn your back very often on that kind of situation, because Israel is very, very patient, and they'll wait for the right time. And they got to learn that you can't do that to people. You can't do it to Jews, at least. So,
well, they shouldn't be doing it to anyone.
Well, of course not.
Anyway,
yeah.
There's times you might ask that when would Israel use their nuclear weapons? Okay.
Yeah.
And my research led me to 4 specific thresholds for nuclear deployment.
Yeah.
The first one would be a total collapse of the state. If Israel's leaders believed that the state was at risk of total collapse. And that would include like an enemy armored breakthrough, or multiple fronts collapsing at the same time, or a command breakdown that threatened the government's survival. Then they'd use nukes. The second threshold for nuclear deployment would be if Israel sustained missile or drone attacks causing catastrophic national harm. I got that written down here. Or if conventional defenses failed, and infrastructure like bases or population centers were being degraded at a really rapid rate, then they would respond. The third threshold would be an attack by weapons of mass destruction. Okay. So say if they were being attacked with a chemical weapon, a biological weapon, or even another nuclear weapon, they would strike back.
So you'd have to say they have, especially for their size of country, almost a record catalog of all sorts of nuclear weapons, right?
Oh, they do. They do.
All right. So if that's the case, why does it seem like Iran think they're immune? They can't get hit back.
Okay, let's get to this.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem.
Yeah, what's the problem?
Shia Muslims want to provoke Israel to use its nuclear deterrent.
Yeah.
Because they actually believe that it will trigger the last war. And that'll lead to the return of the Prophet Muhammad, and it'll be the end times. So they want to hasten that moment.
Well, as you are a Catholic, how do you think Jesus would think about this?
Well, Jesus was a man of peace.
Okay, but he's supposed to be the guy that's going to run Jerusalem when he comes back. And if they destroy Jerusalem, well, it's all over, isn't it?
I've heard the scripture talk about a new Jerusalem. I'm not.
Who would be the
really,
Who would be the ruler of the New Jerusalem? Who would be?
That would be Christ.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exactly my point. So
The Messiah.
somehow, assuming that he is the Messiah, I know you believe that. I'm not sure. I don't know, but he's got to be in that place because it is the whole Christian idea is that Jesus is going to be resurrected and he is going to go back to Jerusalem and run the world basically from there. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and there's gonna be a period of peace, and then all hell's gonna break loose. That's what Scripture says.
Oh, okay. Did they put it that way? All hell's going to break loose? I don't think they did. What do you mean?
It talks about the last war on the plains of Armageddon.
Okay. It's a great movie, by the way.
I'm going to have to do some research on the last days and times. Yeah,
that'll be interesting. Yeah, do that for another show.
Yeah.
All right.
But as you noticed, even when Israel suffered painful losses, they haven't used their nukes. They've remained off the table.
It's very interesting, isn't it? And then
now
you think
7th?
That's the reason is that they want to the other guys are going to want to be suckering Israel into doing that. Yeah, feeling that they can overtake them then and get the world to go along with them and make Muhammad the next God or next to God, Allah. Is Allah separate from Muhammad?
Okay, let me talk about Allah for a second.
Okay.
Allah is not our God, Dave. That's not the God of the Christians and the Jews. See, before,
but I think he was considered that at once by
let me
Muhammad.
tell you. Before Allah was the Almighty, the Bedouins worshipped the pantheon of gods. There was a number of them,
right?
And Allah was the moon god.
Okay, yeah,
and the god of war. So when Muhammad decided to receive the message and write it down, he made Allah the Almighty God, but he wasn't. Allah predated that. And so when you see any Muslim flag, what do you see on it? The crescent moon.
Yeah, because he's the moon god.
Because he's the moon god.
Yeah, okay. I get it. Yeah, I remember that.
And we serve a jealous God. Thou shalt have no false gods before me.
All right. Well, let me ask you another thing. What if God is all powerful, our God, and let's assume it's in your case it would be Jesus too, the Father, the Son. Why does Satan get away with what he's doing? And why don't they just get rid of the bum?
Well, there are some things that I really don't know.
Well,
but
go to Grok.
But
go to AI.
But in the beginning, we know this.
Yeah.
Before man was created, there was a war in heaven. And 1/3 of all God's creation broke away from
angels, right?
Under the leadership of Lucifer.
Who became Satan, right?
Yeah, who we refer to as Satan.
Right.
So 1/3 of God's creation broke away from him.
Yeah.
Think about this. What if 1/3 of all the states broke away from the United States? It's
come close. We might be coming close again. Okay.
Yeah, we might be.
I mean, it's not that impossible to me. I'm seeing a lot of people who are anti-American and don't want to be in America So they want to be somewhere else, either their old home or they want to make a new home in a new country.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I know that you have a lot of listeners who have religious backgrounds.
Sure.
Some are pastors.
Yeah.
Maybe they could call in and enlighten us about
all right
why God tolerates Satan.
Yeah, I got a Christian boy over here whose mother is a pastor. She's the official pastor of the Dave Weinbaum Show, and my wifey over here, she is a minister, right?
Ordained
minister. And she's always beating me up.
No.
I believe it has a lot to do with free will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's freed will, and then I got her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
she's pissed now. Okay, there you go. You never know how she's going to react.
This is what happens.
How do you know from funny? Don't use that. Don't use it. No, don't even think about it. All right. All right, my friend. Listen, I got to get going. This has been a lot of fun. I think you did really good. We didn't say one thing, or maybe one or two, but nothing about space. I guess we're waiting for the. What did you turn it off?
No, we had somebody trying to call.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, but anyways, it was great having you. And other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you and buy your books? Yeah, books.
Well, my book, A is for America. There it is. Thank you, JP. Is doing quite well. I'm doing book signings in the Chicago area, and actually reading. I'm doing some readings, and the book can be purchased at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. A is for America by Richard C. Jeffrey.
I have smart people on this show, you know that, and he's one of them.
Thank you.
You know, if you during their lives, if you take a lot of money from your parents, and you're just waiting them for them to die, they might not put you in their will, but they will put you in their won't. Ladies, bada boom. Bada boom.
Where do you come up with these? Oh my goodness.
These are old ones. I've been doing this for a while. I got about 55,000 quotes and jokes. Anyways, thank you so much. Let's hear it for Richard C. Jeffrey.
Thank you.
All right. Hi to the space
aliens. Have a nice week, Dave.
Yes, hi to the space aliens too.
I will.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, let's do a few clips of Glenn Beck. Okay, and we'll be back. We'll be back after that and run some commercials, and we're going to have Chris Adamo coming on, and then the crazy guy Mark McCloskey and his sane wife. That would be Patricia, and they're both lawyers. I have to have a lawyer on this show. I think it's part of the. I think there's a law. Dave Weinbaum must have at least one lawyer on every show.
It's in our contract,
and it's working. Yeah, it's in the contract. There you go. Hit it.
Built to set the two great loves of a Christian patriot at war with each other. And the most uncomfortable part was where it gets in. Not through an enemy in a foreign uniform, but through allies waving our own flag and quoting our own scriptures. It was built to fool people exactly like you and me. Luckily, I have been watching this guy, Alexander Dugin, for years. I've been warning you for years. He is he is on center stage now in much of the right and in Christendom. So I want to show you today, I want to take it from a different angle. I want to show you the same thing, but from a different angle. Because people in this audience already diagnosed this disease once before. You just didn't know you were being trained to recognize it. So let me help you recognize what you're facing by showing you what you've already recognized. Remember when we started talking about Barack Obama in 2007 and 2008, and we found Jeremiah Wright, and we heard crazy things coming from the pulpit with Jeremiah Wright. We did our homework. What is that? That's liberation theology, okay? It swept through the church in the last century, but you, hopefully, were not fooled. You saw it for what it was, Marxism in a cassock. The cross traded for the hammer and sickle. Salvation redefined as revolution. Remember, it takes the gospel from a personal salvation goal to a collective salvation goal. God doesn't save us collectively. He saves us individually. And when you get liberation theology, the kingdom of God collapses into a 5-year plan, and the gospel is reduced to a means and a political ends. You knew that a faith bent into a weapon for the class struggle had already stopped being faith. And it had to be stopped because it's not faith. Even the Vatican said so. Cardinal Ratzinger himself warned that you can't borrow, categories of Marx and still be preaching Christ. You can't. So you are right. You got liberation theology. Hold on to that clarity for one more minute because you're going to need it. Because the same offer has just come back around. Now, new and improved. And this time it's not coming from the left, it's coming from the right, and it's coming for you. And it's not arriving with a red star. It arrives under a golden dome. It doesn't say seize the means of production. It says restore the Christian civilization. It doesn't quote Marx. It quotes our church fathers. And it is aimed with great precision at the one group who would never fall for the left-wing version. At the faithful, the traditional, the patriotic Christian who has spent his whole life resisting exactly this kind of maneuver from the other direction. So here's what you have to see, because you of all people are equipped to see it. It's exactly the same heresy. Liberation theology politicized the faith and dragged it left. This new thing politicizes the faith and drags it to the right. But the sin underneath is identical. Taking the kingdom that is not of this world and nailing it to a kingdom that is of this world.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word? But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank termite and pest control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank termite and pest control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Rob Willis, an author and a writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Powder Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
A soldier for American freedom, expert on the destruction of communism. Please welcome the pizza master of politics, Chris Adamo. Adamo. Was that good enough for you?
That was pretty good. Puts me in a mood for pizza. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I want you in a mood to do a good interview.
Yeah.
Forget the pizza until afterwards, for God's sakes. Get your mind on what you're doing.
So glad to have you back on here. You're obviously in fine form. You're picking on me already, so yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get the blood flowing. So
you know how
a great interview like you usually do, because I piss you off. I know that.
No, I'm ticked about a lot of things, but let's go to something positive for just a second, and I'll still show you how the left can undermine this. Yesterday was the 57th anniversary of something. Do you know what that is? I don't want to put you on this, we should be celebrating. We should be celebrating 57th anniversary of the launch of Apollo 11 that put Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon. We celebrate that on the 20th. That was the day they actually landed and got out and walked on the moon, July 20th, 1969. This is the kind of thing our country should be celebrating. Kids in schools should be learning about Americans winning the Cold War by technologically defeating the Soviet Union.
You're talking
Instead
about
of learning
Reagan.
about drag queens,
You're talking
instead
about
of learning
Reagan.
about drag queens and that supposedly if you mutilate them enough, the boy can turn into a girl or vice versa.
Gorbachev and Reagan, right?
Okay, no, this was actually Nixon and I believe Brezhnev at the time, but yeah, this was 1969, and yeah,
okay.
but I mean, what you're describing, Gorbachev and Reagan, that was the end of the Cold War, because that was when Reagan essentially, and I'm really paraphrasing, he essentially, when he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, he called them out for their hideous immorality, the imprisonment of entire nations.
Yeah.
And when Gorbachev tried to convince Reagan to drop our technological quest for the what do they call it, the Golden Dome, now they call it, back then they called it, the leftists derided it as Star Wars, because it was like this was just fanciful dream. But the Soviets knew at that point they could not compete technically with us, no matter how much money they spent. And so at that point, the Soviet Union began to implode. And a few years later, it ceased to exist as the Soviet Union. And so, yeah, this was the Apollo 11 flight was a pivotal moment in American history, because that was the day we won the Cold War. We don't even talk about it anymore, and it's sad. It absolutely should be celebrated.
Okay, where are we going to pizza?
Well, we can always take a break for pizza. We can always stop and do that.
Take a break for pizza.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, I wanted to start off with that, because it's a positive thing. It's
I agree.
American greatness.
You're a very passionate young guy. I thought you were like 50. I thought you were like 57 years old, maybe. But and I was wondering if you're talking about yourself like you usually do.
No, I was 11 years old at that point, so I was old enough to, and I was waiting.
Okay.
Back then. But you know what, Dave? Even then.
Wait a minute. You were born in 1949?
Well, you're not good at math. I was born in 1958.
58. Okay.
Yeah.
I was born.
So this was 69.
I was born in 48. I'm your elder, and you must listen to me.
And I have to be respectful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Okay. So here's the thing. Now, it happened in July. That fall, I'm telling you, I remember when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
That our 6th grade teacher said, okay, let's all write an essay on the moon landing and what you think of it. And at least about half the class, I'm in the suburbs of DC at the time, so there's a lot of Democrats there even back then, at least half the class was totally derisive and mocking, and this was a waste of money. We could have used it to feed the hungry, blah, blah, blah. All the standard leftist Democrat lines that were all, yes, this was 1969 in the fall. It was already in effect. Those were actually, and they were Soviet infiltration talking points in America, because once they realized they couldn't win the technological battle to the race to the moon, once they realized they couldn't win that, then what do? You can get JP to hold up my book there. Then it's the Alinsky strategy.
JP's.
Okay, then you mock the opposition rather than conceding.
Yeah, we do have it up, but JP took. Yeah, it's in the corner. We're all looking. I'm looking at it right now.
Well,
so
but yeah, this was actually
rules for use. Here he is. Rules for defeating radicals. Could you hold up his book, please?
Thank you, JP.
Yeah. He's usually I put a chain on him, but it's
good. He's a good man.
Let him go. He's a big boy, so I don't.
Dave, you need to give this man a raise. He's a good man, good part of the team. We had a great time talking last week, and
take the book down.
And I'm taking I sent you, by the way, JP. I sent a copy to you to forward to Tara Peters. And
she did a good job on the show last week.
She did great, and yeah, Dave, they all did a good job, and maybe you better be careful. They might be,
Hey, I'm trying to do a show every other week, and next week we're going to have Bill Hardwick on the show.
Have him back, okay?
Yeah, so we'll probably I work with them on getting people to interview and stuff like that. But they run the whole show. It's great.
Oh, okay.
I can. I'm a lot older than you. I'm 70, almost 78.
But good patriots you got on there. So
we do. Yeah, well, this is a good show, and you're one of them.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
One of the best.
Oh, now I'm getting uncomfortable because you're complimenting me. That just kind of makes me nervous.
You don't want me to do that?
I'm not used to it.
Okay, Putz, we'll do something else here. Now, does Amendment 4 stop all out-of-state voting in Missouri?
No, let me just tell you real quick. I'm seeing signs all over the place now, and I'd really like a chance to explain this. Amendment 4, and these signs are everywhere. Don't vote for Amendment 4 and Amendment 5. Okay. Now, here's the thing to understand. Amendment 4, it's the pro-aborts and the LGBTQXYZ 1, 2, 3 crowd that hate Amendment 4. Okay, and I'll explain why in a second.
I read that stuff.
It's the tax and spend crowd that hate Amendment 5.
Yeah.
So those are the socialists. Okay, so when you have these signs that are combined saying vote against Amendment 4 and Amendment 5, you're having the morally debased counterculture and the socialists joining together against these two amendments. And what that tells you all you need to know about these two amendments.
Well, I want to know more. I want to know what.
Well, you want to know, but I mean, as far as making the decision on them, it's the fact that these two groups are so much against them. That right there, that's the red flag that you need to notice, because Amendment 4.
Everybody wants to know what the actual amendment says.
Well, let me
raise your left hand, and wait, there's a guy from Kimmington, Missouri. He wants to know.
Okay, real simply, again, it's like if AOC is coming out saying we have to pass something, some national law, you right off the bat, that's a red flag. Okay,
it's a red flag, but
okay. So Amendment 4 does this. It right now, the constitutional amendment process, as far as the ballot initiatives go in Missouri, it's a dumpster fire. It's a way of supplanting a representative republic with a mob-style democracy. Okay, and that's what's happened.
Explain that.
I'm going to. Okay, if you look at the U.S. Constitution, we have just a couple of dozen amendments in 243 years. We have just a couple of dozen amendments, and the reason is the Constitution is supposed to be a framework for the rest of how the government does business. It's not supposed to be individual laws on every issue. It's supposed to be a framework. Okay, so what they did in the Constitution was they said you need a 2/3 vote in the Congress and the Senate. You need a 2/3 vote there to start with, and then you have a ratification process, and it goes through it has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to be actually implemented. The idea is we don't want something one day where somebody comes along and scares everybody and says, we need 51% of the population to agree that we need to put the other 49% in concentration camps because we're scared of them. And everybody gets scared and reacts emotionally and implements this. And all of a sudden, those 49%, their rights are trampled and everything else. So the Constitution the U.S. Constitution was made very specifically, very deliberately, so that as the framework, keep that word underlined, as the framework for how we do government and implement laws, it takes a very decided, very convinced majority of the people to implement it. Okay, that's the U.S. Constitution. So in Missouri, they come up with this idea back when of the ballot initiative amendment. If 51% of the people in Missouri say the other 49% should all be taken out and shot, then we put it on the ballot. We scare everybody of that other 49%, and boom, it's the law. Okay, so what they're doing with Amendment 4 is they're saying we've got, I forget how many pages, 800 pages of the Missouri Constitution because of all these ballot initiatives. And if you look at them, the way they've gotten passed is major money from out of state comes in at the last minute, does very emotional advertising. And on that basis, you get, and it's St. Louis and Kansas City, big blue Democrat strongholds. Yeah. So they all vote 90% for this amendment. And the amendment passes by 51, 52%, and the whole entire rest of the state of Missouri gets ignored. Okay, and just to give you an example, last election that they passed the pro-abortion amendment, Missouri is is if you talk to the people across Missouri, it's like the most pro-life state in the country. And they had, I remember these advertisements, they were abominable. These advertisements, it's all about civil rights. They have some nurse that's talking about women are going to be dying in the streets and all this emotional appeal.
Yep.
And Missouri went from being absolutely pro-life to 51% of the vote says we're going to be absolutely pro-abortion. And thankfully, the legislators and other pro-life groups have been contesting that in court. But the goal is to make Missouri the most pro-abortion state in the country. Okay, now let me digress for just a second and give you.
This is with outside money, isn't it?
It's exactly. That's what I was going to.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to.
So I know, and it's a big subject. It's an important subject. Australia. I know it sounds like I'm taking a rabbit trail, but understand this: Australia, not too many years back, they had a major school shooting, and then they had this same kind of process that eradicated their version of the Second Amendment. Okay, so you have one big school shooting, everybody's horrified by it, which we should be.
Yeah.
And then in the aftermath of that, they all give up their guns. And now Australia, it's being totally invaded by Islamists and things like this going on. And the average citizen in Australia is totally disarmed. And it was because that one school shooting, which I'm going to be overly cynical here, that one school shooting that was really nicely timed for them to pass that fundamental change in their law.
Setup? Was it a setup?
It's an emotional appeal, and you're saying what I'm saying. It's like, boy, this sure looks like a setup. And I could give you example after example where this kind of thing.
Well, let me just say to you, you says, well, Australia, nobody brings that up. I brought it up the last interview because of the killings of the Jews at the beach by Muslims, and the police didn't come for a long
They don't do anything, and the average citizen is absolutely helpless in that circumstance. And now,
actually, let me just comment on that, because one guy who happened to be a Muslim chased after a guy with a long gun and knocked him over, and actually got shot himself and knocked him over and became a hero. He probably saved a bunch of kids and women and men. I mean, they were
getting his hands on a gun that he wasn't legally supposed to have.
Probably, but he stole.
This is my point. Right. So, and good for this guy. I'm glad to hear it. But the truth is that that if we allow our laws to be made on the basis of momentary emotionalism, you can count on. Now, your conservatives try to be honest. We try to discuss things. Let's get to the facts. Your leftists, they count on emotionalism. They count on lies. Guess which side has, between the pro-lifers and the pro-aborts, guess which side has all the money? How much do you make for saving a baby's life?
Well, we think it's like about $150, I think.
Okay. My point is, you don't, if you talk somebody out of having an abortion, you don't make a dime off of that. But if you're an abortionist and they come in and have the abortion, you make lots of money. Guess which side has all the money to fund the campaign right before?
They call themselves Planned Parenthood.
And that's a good example of a multi-billion-dollar organization killing off American babies.
Pretty well stems from them.
And I will say they're in the thick of it. Unfortunately, they're not alone in that. But the point is, who has all the money for these big advertising campaigns? It's the abortionists, and it's just that simple. And we can even go back further into the whole U.S. aid thing, which people aren't talking about anymore, where there was billions of dollars of taxpayer money coming to into these leftist organizations for them to promote their agenda. Let's look at Minneapolis with all the Somali. Remember the learning centers, with all the billions of dollars that went there.
Yeah.
If that goes to a ballot initiative like they do in Missouri, which side has all the money to advertise and to paint a really nice face on their corruption, and which side is actually operating from the grassroots with nothing? And so this whole ballot initiative thing, the way it's done, it puts the entire debate into the hands of the wealthiest entities involved, the ones most willing to spend money on it. So what they're doing with Amendment 4 is they're they're taking it and they're following the pattern of the U.S. Constitution, and they're saying, okay, if you pass an amendment at the ballot box, then it needs to be ratified by the different districts across the state. And this is a way of giving it enough time for it to get back closer to the local people, because the average person can't afford a statewide advertising campaign, but we can work within our districts and our precincts to have our voice more heard that way. So it's putting like a safety valve on the amendment process so that you don't have these things being passed by big money being piled in from out of state. Okay, that's Amendment 4. Amendment 5 is for, in the same sense, you take the whole income tax process and you back it off from where people can just vote. I can, me and 51% can vote to take whatever you've got because I think you've got more than you deserve. Yeah. And so I want it. I can't quite yet. I can't hold you up with a gun and rob you that way. But what I can do is I can implement a state statute, a state ordinance by which the government can hold you up and rob you. Dave, you pay X amount in taxes to me when I demand it, or we're going to come after you. And what are we going to do? We'll start by putting you in jail. And if you resist that, we'll break down your door like the FBI does. And so the idea of Amendment 5 is to back away from this process of just raising taxes. Okay. And they're looking at reducing taxes. I'll give you another example there, that our government school system, which is across Missouri and across America, it's a disgrace. The kids don't read and write. Some districts in some of the more liberal places are literally eliminating graduation standards because they're not teaching kids. They're indoctrinating them so they all know about global warming and sex change. They all know about all this stuff, the gender affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
But they can't read and write and they can't do math. Okay. Terrible. And the schools say, well, you know what? It's because we don't have enough money. We're going to put an initiative on the ballot to get more money. Okay. Now, this doesn't happen on a major election day. It happens on May 23rd, and they only let their own people know about it. So you have a district like, you have 100,000 people in this district, and 5,000 people show up to vote, and 3,000 of them are teachers. And they are teachers and administrators, and they vote for more taxes on the other 97,000 people. Sure. And it keeps passing, and the taxes keep going up.
Now, these are the unions that are doing this, right?
The unions are there at the root of it, but it's the whole.
So so that must mean they're getting really good teaching, that the grade levels are always going up, right?
Yeah, can I talk about that one?
Yeah, well, there's a guy in I think it's Ohio, or it's South Carolina or someplace like that, and this guy is he's a governor, and his rates go up and up and up because he does the right stuff, because he doesn't let these guys bully them around.
Guess what happens when the test scores go down? Now, this is the biggest scam.
They want more money.
They get more money. That is the biggest scam being played on the American parent in the last century. The worse job that they do, the more excuses they have to say, well, it's because we don't have enough money. And the average parent says, well, I want my kid to do better than that other kid that can't even read or write. So yeah, I'm going to vote for more money. Okay. Now, if you actually do improve test scores as the education system, if you actually do improve test scores, you've just forfeited your biggest weapon for demanding more money. You think they're actually going to do that?
No.
What we need is, we don't need more money. We need accountability, and we need people who demand accountability instead of demanding more money.
Sure, we do. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk about the war we have now with Iran. Minority Shias in Iran, they're like 20 million versus 80 million.
Yep.
What do the Yazidis, who are they? And there seem to be about as bad as good as the Shias are not, and they're fighting against the Shias. So what's going on with that?
I'll be honest with you. The particular group you just mentioned, I couldn't even repeat the name. I don't know who they are, but I will tell you this: that the couple in the broader sense, a couple of things you said there were absolutely on target and need to be emphasized. Is that the Islamists, the ones who marry 13-year-old girls and they have their rape gangs and they have all the abuses and stuff. They're a small minority in Iran. They took over by brute force in the 1970s with the help of Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, who was actually at the time colluding with the Islamists and with the Marxists for whatever reason. And again, we can talk about Jimmy Carter all day. I'm not even going to go there. But they're a small minority. The thing that needs to happen goes back to our previous discussion about the Australians. The thing that needs to happen is the common citizen in Iran needs to be in a position where they are able to defend themselves against this minority. And okay, now this IRGC, these Ayatollahs, these Islamist monsters, any concept of actually negotiating with them is somewhere between stupid and suicidal, because these people have this fanaticism, this blinding fanaticism that they're by committing these heinous acts against helpless people, that they're somehow impressing their Allah, and so there's no finding common ground with these people, none. And any attempts to do that just gives them that much more latitude to keep up their evil. It's just that stark and that simple. Okay, I'm not sure where I've heard some really appalling things from J.D. Vance that had me greatly concerned.
Yeah, tell me about that.
It sounds to me like he thinks that there's some way of being reasonable with these people. Now, either I've heard a few theories. The only
he's also dumped on Netanyahu a little.
Yeah, I'll only give him this latitude. Maybe he and Trump are actually coordinating this as a good cop, bad cop thing. That's the only possibility. But if that's the case, he's going to have to come out the day after the IRGC gets driven into the ocean. He's going to have to come out and say, "Hey."
And I think it's a triangle. I think they're all in on the bad guy, good guy, and the disturbed guy.
I hope you're right,
Netanyahu.
I hope you're right, because
that's smart. I do.
The alternative would be that J.D. Vance is another Mike Pence. And if that's the case, we've got to be very aware. What's that?
I don't see that.
I hope you're right. I'm
right too. And Trump is smart enough to understand.
Right.
Pence, believe me.
But we the people of America have got to be absolutely sure of where that stands by 2028, because Vance is probably going to run for the following term, and there's a good chance that he would get elected if he did. If he's playing part of this routine, then good for him, and will be great. If he's not, if he's sincere with this stuff, then we're looking at doing worse than electing George Bush Jr. in 2000. We're looking at electing an enemy from within. So those are the stakes. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope any suspicions I have are wrong, but we've got to be aware that this is the situation we face.
I'm not as sure about things as you are, but I can see it going either way.
Well, and I'm not sure. I will tell you that much. I just, I could see it going either way.
I've seen Trump long enough to believe that he's learned how to do his job pretty good. Okay.
And some of his job,
he has really covered his ass with the truth, and he's shown the results
right
from that. I mean, it's not like he's saying stuff and nothing's happening. And
some of how he does his job is to kind of bait and switch.
Also, sometimes it's a little painful.
Right, and so what we've got to always go back with him that you don't look at what he says in the moment, look at what he does, what he's done. And I've heard people say this. I remember Rush Limbaugh used to say this about him, and it's true. Okay, so because 2 weeks ago, it's like he's sounding like he's buddy with the IRGC right before he bombs the living you know what out of them.
Right.
And the point being that the only option we have with the IRGC, the only option is to eliminate them as an entity. They are, first of all, totally fanatically devoted to destroying Israel, destroying all of Western civilization that is not Islam. They are one of the few things George W. Bush said right. He said they were the focus of an axis of evil. Okay, they still are. They're a pawn of the communist Chinese. This is just who they are. And if they're operating in any capacity, that's what they're going to be. And so the only option we have is to eliminate them as a national entity. It's just that simple.
I think we're in the process. I think a lot of them are getting out of town. I think a lot of these guys are getting the hell out of town because I'll join, I'll die.
Yep.
But I think a lot of them, have families and things like that, and they want to get the hell out of there.
They're kind of like socialists, where socialists will give away your money to be generous. What they will do is they will sacrifice your kids for Allah. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm watching the time get away from us, and I really, really want to just take a moment to tell you what's going on. It is breaking loose back in Wyoming.
What?
The leader of the Wyoming Freedom Caucus, a great patriot by the name of John Bear. He's from the Gillette area, northeastern Wyoming.
Yeah.
He put out a great commentary. If you look for it, it's there's a website called Cowboy State Daily. John Bear, he talks about the fact that the 250th birthday of the United States in Gillette, in his hometown.
Yeah.
The rhinos responsible for Parks and Rec and things like that forbid the passing out of Bibles and U.S. constitutions in Gillette, Wyoming. Okay, the rhinos. The rhinos are Democrats.
I thought you took care of those people.
We're taking care of them. That's why I'm talking about this. Meanwhile, halfway across the state, in the town of Lander, beautiful mountain town there, right at the foot of the mountains. In Lander, the LGBTQ crowd at the 250th day celebration parade, they're passing out condoms, including to children. Okay, so in one city you have LGBTQ passing out condoms. In another city, the supposed Republican Parks and Recs guy and his cronies, they're forbidding the passing out of U.S. constitutions and Bibles.
So what are you doing about this? You're the
well, I'm putting out the word. I'm not the savior. John Bear, again, head of the Wyoming Freedom Caucus, is doing a great job. Look him up. Give him your support, but look up his commentary. He blew the lid off of this, and there's a bunch of people asking questions now because you juxtapose those two in the state of Wyoming, and what you see. His article, by the way, it's how long before Wyoming elects a socialist. If we sit back and let these people operate in this manner, how long before you have some guy like New York's mayor there, who's the mayor of Casper, Wyoming, and we're starting to push this kid and teach Sharia law. I mean, these absurdities. It sounds like I'm being kind of extreme and provocative. They're going on. They're happening. So look up that commentary if you get a chance.
I gotta get going. I've got a gentleman waiting to come on. He's running for office. He's running for the Congress. National Congress, and his name is Sam Gallucci. Did I get that right? I think I did. And we talked.
Probably a relative. I like him already.
Yeah, forget about it.
He and I are going to go have a piece of pizza.
He's laughing his ass off already. So other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find your book, Rules for Defeating Radicals?
It is at Amazon.com. And you got the link right there. If you go to Amazon.com and you just do a search on my name or Rules for Defeating Radicals, you'll find it. And Sam, if you're interested in a copy, I tell you, it would help you greatly. Talk to Dave, talk to JP. I'll get contact info and I'll send you a signed copy. How's that?
He can't speak right now.
Oh.
No. And you don't want to shut up an Italian.
There.
Sure. No. Never.
Did you hear that, Sam?
I did. I'd love a copy. Thank you.
Get the contact info to JP. We'll talk.
All right. I have one more thing for you. You need to know it.
This is the painful part.
You know it. Organ donors must stay well tuned. That's all. Just advice. Just a little advice.
Why do I feel like the organ grinder's monkey here?
Have a great. You better not be talking about him because he'll come kick your butt.
Have a good one. God bless. Keep fighting a good fight.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. All right. Down to earth doer running for Congress in California, a servant to his community, a pastor. Please welcome Sam Gallucci.
Thank you.
Did I say that right?
You did.
Thank you.
You did. Thank you, Dave. It's good to be on your show.
Good to have you. Please tell my audience why you decided to run for office as a Republican in California.
It's really to help us save our republic. I've been in California now 65 years. At the age of 2, we moved from New York to California to pursue what we call out here the California dream. And my parents had their version of it. I had my version of it. My kids are doing the best they can. When I look at my grandkids, I have 9 and soon to be 10 any day now. Number 10 is coming. There you go. I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this for the same reason all of the patriots in generations past did it for their kids, for this incredible American experiment, this constitutional republic that we once again must fight to keep. And, on our 250th anniversary, Dave, I am reminded deeply how critical that is and how precious our freedoms are. And as Reagan has always said, we're one generation away from losing them. So that's why I'm running. I'm running to help us save our republic at this point.
Ronald Reagan was a lot smarter than everyone thought he was. What the hell is that? That's my wife. Lisa.
It rang on both devices.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Careful there.
I'm getting double calls here. They must really like you. They're calling about you, apparently. So you have set up many people to live a better life.
Yes.
Kind of like one of those guys that helped the poor citizens and temporary crop workers. What's your goal for them?
It's a hand up. It's to get them permanently off the street. It is a fundamental part of our DNA to help people, and I think it's how God built us. Yeah. And love your neighbor as yourself. It talks about the good book talks about pure religion is caring for the widows and orphans, and in our generation, here in the 21st century America, our widows and orphans are women and children at risk of homelessness, and that is a constant need. And we have done a phenomenal job. We've worked hard. We've the school of hard knocks. But any woman or child that is on the verge of homelessness, we're there to help them to ensure that doesn't happen to them.
Oh, you mentioned that you were born in New York. Is that correct?
Yes, in Huntington, New York.
Yeah. What did your family do before you moved out?
We were Italian immigrants.
Yeah.
My grandparents came from the old country, from Calabria on my father's side and Alcamo on my mother's side, and they were farmers. And my grandfather, who I'm named after, ended up migrating to Michigan outside of the Detroit area, and had row crops in the 30s, and then by 1940. He noticed that a lot of his produce and his eggs, he had a large number of chickens, were used for small business grocery stores. Back in those days, there were no supermarkets. So Sam and Mary Gallucci started Lockmore Market right in the edge of the Detroit auto worker executives, homes. And that's what they did. And they were entrepreneurs in the glory days of Detroit, Michigan, in the auto industry in the 40s. And from there, our family kind of did its thing, the ups and downs of life. And my father ended up getting married and moving to New York, and that's how it started for us.
Very interesting, because my people came out of Ukraine back in 1909. It started. That was Ukraine and Romania and stuff, places like that. The Jews and Italians have a lot in common.
Oh yes,
as a lot. So and here I am in Rolla, Missouri, on the Witness Protection Program. I don't know how the people back home said, "Where did he go? Who's he telling on?" Yeah, I says, "Nah, forget about it." Anyways, how do you deal with all the illegals let in by Biden and Kamala? We got almost 20 million people.
That's right.
And so where are you on that? Because you're
and this is
a lot.
Absolutely. This is what's really unique about my campaign, and how God works in a person's life. So the way you deal with the ones that Biden let in is you address the merit workers that came in previously to Biden over the last 40 years. And this is where I think we have to get this absolutely right. We need a national reconciliation on the whole issue of immigration, because frankly, for the last 40 years prior to Biden, we had the borders pretty much open. We let millions come in for work, and then we hired them. So America aided and abetted. So they came in legally, and America aided and abetted that by hiring those workers and then retaining them. And so here we have, I'm guessing 8 to 10 million that came in prior to Biden that are working class people. They've raised their families. They now have grandkids on their second or third generation. They've been retained by industry in essential industries 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And they have earned the right to continue to work here because America's already said yes to them. And the way that you solve the Biden issue is by solving that issue. And that's one of the big things that I'm running on, one of the big initiatives, because I think it is critical to saving our republic. We have what I call merit workers, and President Trump has called them merit workers as well. And you've heard him say, we ought to do something for the merit workers, right?
Yes.
And so I have been working with merit workers as a pastor for the last 14 years, and particularly the last 12 years, pretty extensively. Over 3,000 are now in my network. They're primarily field workers. A lot of them from the Oaxaca area, where their native language is Mixteco, and then they learn Spanish, and they're strawberry pickers.
Where were those places at?
Yeah, Oaxaca is a region in Mexico. So they came up from Mexico to work.
Yeah. Okay.
And their stories are as diverse, Dave, as the day is long. Well over half of them came here legally with papers, and then when the papers began to expire, our system failed them, and they basically were stuck here. They had their families here, they had their work here. Their employers continued to retain them, even though their papers were expired, and then the system just kind of left them out to dry. But they've been working here for years. And what I did is, when the border was secure by President Trump, I'm thrilled for that, and I started to do their work, there was this radical move from the hard left, from the Democrats, to conflate that population with the ones Biden brought together.
Yeah.
It's a sinister plan that is working. And so they came out with a series of briefings for the merit workers to fully intoxicate them with fear. I'm going to call it fear porn, because literally they got them so afraid that, and every evil imaginable thing they sewed into those merit workers. Republicans are evil. President is evil. ICE is bad. Resist arrest. That always works when you resist arrest.
Sure.
And run, hide, protest. And then they were giving them these red cards that basically said, if after you attempted to resist arrest, You've already provoked ICE. You show them this card that says, I will not cooperate with you. I will not talk to you. I will not show you any papers. That ensures they get detained. And once these merit workers get detained, the left says, see, I told you so. They're not after the criminals. They're after the hardworking people. And so, and they're winning that debate.
That's really evil, isn't it?
It's evil. It is pure evil. So when I started my race, before that, it was in April of last year, I started an immigration plan. I took a couple of bills that passed the Congress but didn't pass passed the House, didn't pass the Senate, certified ag worker forms. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip up these red cards. And I have about 200 in my congregation alone. And by the way, there's millions in the state of California alone in churches right now, in primarily Hispanic churches. I'm a bilingual church. And I said, we're going to certify you as ag workers. We're going to vet you. We're going to do criminal background checks on you to ensure you have no felonies. We're going to get 3 references. We're going to confirm your employment and confirm from your employer your retention rate that they've kept you on, that you are a quality worker. We're going to confirm your family status, your community status, and we're going to give you like a mini resume. We're going to call it a certified ag worker form. Okay. And you know what? That's been working locally. We had early on, when ICE isn't provoked, when the hard left isn't provoking them, when they're just doing their job looking for criminals, we had tremendous success with that certification. And we had a couple of cases where the ICE agent said, you work 20 years picking strawberries for XYZ company. I'm not looking, and you have no criminal record. I'm not looking for you. You can go. And absolutely can work.
That's got to be driving the left crazy.
It is driving them crazy because it's working. My goal to get to Congress is to separate out the merit workers from all of the criminals.
Do you have that in the law?
I really believe this is the key to getting rid of the Biden ones.
Okay, but do you have that in a law? Somebody carrying this into a
Well, that's what I want to do. I've actually been to Congress a couple of times sharing my work.
Which Congress? The one in L.A.?
No. I've been to D.C.
D.C. All right. You're big.
I've met with a couple of congressmen about my work, and obviously I'm running on immigration reform. Okay. And I do believe the workers must stay. All the criminals have to go. And what I want to do is a merit bill, which is a very narrow piece of legislation. And I've proven that. I've already done about 500 certifications here in my city and the surrounding cities, working with Hispanic churches. And I want to do a merit bill, which is restating the old Becerro program. On the West Coast, we had what was called Becerros, and they were temporary work visas for seasonal workers in the fields. My city is strawberry capital of the world here in Oxnard, California. But now we need year-round seasonal passes because we now have these merit workers in every industry that are year-round industries, and reestablish a merit work visa that literally stands on its own. There's no social security numbers. It doesn't connect to citizenship at all. That's a whole nother process. They can get in the line for that if they so choose, but simply just a merit work visa for the work they've already demonstrated and America has said yes to for 10, 20, 30 years. Annually renewable work visa. That's it. They get ITIN numbers to pay their taxes, a W-7, and we're good to go. And we separate out those 8 to 10 million.
They don't get the vote?
No, there's no voting, none of that stuff. None of that stuff, of course. And that's the beauty. We separate out those 8 to 10 million. We solve this problem that the can has been kicked down the road for 40 years.
Yeah.
And now we get rid of the Biden ones.
In a way, that's too bad because most of them would probably vote red. Republican.
Oh yes, they would. And the beauty is they're now here legally. We know who they are.
Yeah,
we know who they are. They've identified themselves. So
they got to get themselves approved as a citizen somewhere.
Well, that's the process we go through. They get in the line like everybody else.
Okay.
But you don't force that in a bill. That's why these bills never pass. Salazar has a great bill, the Dignity Act, but she, on that bill, includes Social Security numbers so that those Social Security numbers, they start to build a base. And most Republicans see that as amnesty because you've simply added that dimension. But when you take that out and you focus on the one thing that these merit people are looking for, one thing, and that is to not live in fear of deportation. They have a legal work permit. They can come and go across the border. They can see their families probably for the first time in 10, 20, 30 years. I have several in my community alone in that they haven't seen their parents, their sisters, their brothers. And you simply give them a merit visa, work visa, based on the work they've already demonstrated, where America has demonstrated we want these workers, we've retained them, and therefore we let them work. And now you solve that one problem, and then they get in the line for the other stuff, and they choose what they want to do. Some of them will go back. Others will pursue green cards or whatever, but you let the rest of the system, you leave the rest of the system away to fight for another day. Yeah. So this is how you solve that problem, I believe.
Wow. I mean, it sounds really good. Trump just made a speech to bring charges on provable election fraud.
Yes.
On the swamp and other people that are, some of them are in California.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on those people, and what kind of retribution is Trump trying to get? Is he trying to put these guys in jail or what?
I don't know. I think all Americans, well, we know this to be the case. The Save America Act, over 80% of Americans believe that you should be able to prove that you're a citizen. I think it's a no-brainer. For me, and I think most Americans believe that the reason the Democrats are against it is because they're cheating. Yeah. That's the only reason you'd be against it. And
I've been saying it since the election.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're cheating so badly. They don't want to get caught.
The 2020 election.
Well, they've been cheating for a while, and I think even Schumer, when he says that there's 25 million that he believes that would be disenfranchised, and the ICE agents come after him, he's pretty much saying the only ones ICE agents really go after are those that are not citizens, right. And the rest of this is really exaggeration.
They don't mention that, they just leave that out.
Yeah. But I think
he's got a lot of nerve being a Jewish guy in a party that hates Jews.
It's crazy. That's absolutely right. And there's so much hypocrisy right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got that. So Fetterman, Fetterman? What do you think?
I do. I like him.
Yeah. I mean, who knew that this guy was going to turn into a really smart guy out of what we thought he was, which was a disabled guy in a sweatshirt, just off the street or something like that. What an amazing turnaround. Well,
I believe Fetterman represents what the Democrat and Republican Party at best should be, which are Americans. He's an American. His social philosophies perhaps differ from some Republicans, but at the end of the day, he's an American first. And this is what's wrong with our political system. We have politicians that are no longer Americans. They no longer believe in American excellence. And I never thought I'd see the day, Dave, when truly we would see those running for political office and those that are in political office that truly hate America. In other words, hate America as it is known, as a republic, a constitutional republic, where the rights come from God, not from the government. But yet that's where we're at. That's why it's a 5-alarm fire that we have to protect ourselves from this injection of communism and socialism that is clearly among us.
Well, Sam, we have had this since at least the Civil War.
Yes.
Think about it, and it's almost the same stuff. They hated America because, you couldn't keep your slaves anymore for a time, and then
Right.
it became we're going to give everybody something, but but you got to vote for us. We're going to give everybody free tax money from
Right.
everyone else, and you don't have to work. Just go out there and make these demonstrations. And you remember Chicago back in the late '60s, right?
Yes.
They were all out there going crazy, and it's still happening. And Trump has taken on Black Lives Matter, and he's also taken on what's the other one? Antifa, yeah.
Antifa, sure.
Antifa, and he's also taken on the cartels in Mexico.
Right. That's right.
He already took care of what's the guy's name that got arrested in Venezuela?
That's right.
Yeah, he's gotten away with that. So, and hardly any not that there should be any die, but most of the things go on without very many Americans dying, like other
Right.
wars.
It's extraordinary. Extraordinary what he's doing.
It's amazing
Yes.
how this guy's done it. Other guys could have done it this way.
That's
but
right.
They seem to live to expect Americans to die
Right.
for dumb wars.
Right.
Dumb
Exactly.
wars.
Right.
And he ain't that.
He's not. It's really unfortunate, Dave, that the media has worked so hard to lie about him, literally lie about him, exaggerate, take maybe some valid concerns, turn them into gross exaggerations, and then pile on those exaggerations, just flat out lies, misdirection, misquoting what he says, putting things together. It is a tragedy. And yet it tells, I think, the American people that there truly is something systemically wrong in our federal government and a number of our state governments. There's a corruption that has happened beyond pale. This is what I say to District 26, running for Congress, and I believe it's for our country. While we were all working, we were taken advantage of. Our courage, our generosity, our trust of our politicians were taken advantage of, and they basically have undermined our freedoms, undermined our trust, where we now have a situation. It's been going on, like you said, for quite some time, where it's evident, it's out in front of us that we have this cancer that's trying to take our country down. And I don't know about you, but I had two uncles in World War II. Yeah. And one, Uncle Pete, he served for General Patton. He was a tank commander. And the other was Uncle Frank, who was a paratrooper. And these men, I remember growing up, and they'd look at me and they'd talk to me, and I would get a little out of the big war. They wouldn't share a lot, but they'd share a little. But they'd always turn to me and say, "Listen to me, young man, when you get my age, don't bitch and complain about America, go do something about it." And I think it's all hands on deck. That we need to rise up and take back our country. And President Trump literally is this flame of our republic that is lighted, that is showing us that the darkness is everywhere around us.
Now, here's a coincidence. I'm named for a tank commander. My uncle was David Weinbaum.
Oh, wow.
And he was obviously a Jewish guy, and I think he was in the Patton deal. But
wow,
doing towards the end of the war, he was doing a recon with a fellow tank commander in a Jeep, and they were out and they got lost. And April 15th, 1945, a couple of SS guys come up. And they shoot my uncle.
Wow!
And they let the Christian go to tell the story.
Wow!
That's my uncle David Weinbaum, that's my name, David.
There
Weinbaum.
You go. That's incredible.
Never met him. My father was in in Missouri here at the same place that bombed Iran.
How about that?
But he didn't see any action. But
it was interesting. But we're all around us, right? They're all around us. All these memories, all these men, one generation, one or two generations that remind us of why we're here in this time in history, for the same reason that this nation was founded. To allow us the freedoms that we exist, that no other nation has ever experienced to the degree we have.
All right, we're winding down here. Thoughts on Lindsey Graham?
You know what? What an incredible patriot! Truly, truly a patriot. From the stories you hear that at his death, he wasn't a bazillionaire. He didn't raise tons of money, right? He had a typical, you work yourself and if you have a little bit of a pension and you save money, you maybe get to about $1 million or $1.5 million in total pension assets that you can retire on. That tells such a story itself, that he was never in it for the money. He's a true patriot. He stood his ground. There were times when he agreed with President Trump. There were times when he disagreed with President Trump. I think he is an inspiration to us all running for office, and just a fine man, and should be a role model, frankly, in a lot of ways, of what a politician, somebody that serves its country in this way, should be. I honor him in his memory, and pray that in my small part, I can take his place. And I'm hoping for all your listeners, samgallucci.com. Even if you give $26 for District 26, it would go a long way to help me defeat the radical Democrat. The seat is open, so we have a chance to really flip this seat red. But I need everybody to give to fight this battle against the radical Democrat they're putting up against me. And in part in honor of Lindsey Graham and all he fought for, that I'm hoping to carry the torch as one of many.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna end it on that note.
Chris Renzini has a comment.
Oh, Chrissy. Okay.
Yes,
well, where is it? Let me find it. Okay. We got comments too.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I love the Jewish and American flag in my church that I pastor. I have both next to each other right there as well.
You have what? You have the Jewish star?
The Jewish flag, the Jewish star, and the American flag next to each other in my church.
That's so interesting. All right, Christopher Ranzini. Good morning, Dave. Also Italian. Good morning, Dave Weinbaum, and the lovely Lisa Weinbaum. Watch it. And the family, love your name, Mr. Gallucci. Glad to hear you are running.
Thank you. Thank you.
There it is. Now that's a great thing. So we've gotten the connection to you. Why does Southwest Airlines charge Nancy Pelosi?
I don't know. I don't know what that question is. I don't understand the question.
Southwest Airlines charge Nancy Pelosi because even old bags fly free. Oh, that's terrible. I know. But you'll tell it in church, won't you?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and stay in touch.
Thank you. SamGallucci.com for more information. Thank you.
Applause. What the hell's going on with that? All right. Thank you. Well
Thank you for having me. God bless you all.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay, we got, what do we got here? We got, no, we've done commercials, right? Mm-hmm. We're done with commercials, and we're waiting on who? McCloskey. Play another clip or so till McCloskey gets on. All right.
Remember, this new philosophy is you got to get in with the Russians. You got to get in with a Christian prince, because only this kingdom of the world will save the next kingdom. You know that's garbage. And the moment you turn the internal into a tool of the temporal, You've handed someone else the handle. And in this case, the someone holding that handle sits in Moscow. The liberation theologians thought they were using Marxism. Marxism was using them. And I'm telling you that the man selling the czar to the rescue of Christendom are running exactly the same play. And the faithful are meant to be the instrument, not the author. I respect you too much to flatter or to lie to you. And here's what everyone who will stand against this will not say, and it must be said. This new theology that is coming out, extraordinarily dangerous, is going to capture a lot of people, including people like you and me, because it's grievance. It starts on grievance. They're not wrong about the culture. There is something in our culture, our entertainment, our schools, our screens, our institutions that has set itself against Christ. Not always in name, sometimes in name, but always in spirit, in its teachings, in its trappings. And the ache that you feel that you are looking at anti-Christ stuff coming from our culture, that's not paranoia. And it's not nostalgia. It's like, I remember Leave It to Beaver. They would have never done. No. This is discernment screaming at you, and the disease is real.
A man and a woman who know their right to have a backyard barbecue, suddenly surrounded by BLM and Antifa, brandished 2 firearms and said 2 words: private property. And I have at least one half of them on the show right now. Mark McCloskey, and hopefully his wife Patricia is finally there. She's not. She has been made to go out once again to make a living.
Somebody's got to.
Well, I just said for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So like the Hawaiian shirt, are you going on vacation?
Well, could be. I'm doing every other week now in shows.
Yeah.
If I can find somebody, and you could come down here and do that too. So
do it from with a split screen from St. Louis. I'd be very happy to do it. It's just
that'd be fine. We could do it.
Yeah. Be happy to. Like to.
Yeah, I know. We're not rich people like you are in the big city.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're waist deep in Scrooge McDuck gold coins.
What do you say?
I said you're waist deep in Scrooge McDuck gold coins. I know you.
Okay. Yeah. No habla español, senor. Trump's speech last night dumped on swampers, communists, and Iran. Did you watch it?
I did. I was.
What'd you think?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that it was certainly oversold, because if you listen to what he actually said, he said that electronic voting machines were vulnerable to attack. He didn't say they actually were attacked. He did not identify for us a single vote that was in fact altered, except maybe in Venezuela. But as far as the American system goes, there was not a single word about a single vote that actually in fact got changed. It just, it could happen because our machines are subject to attack by China, although no evidence it actually did. An interesting thing was that John Solomon, if you know who he is, was being interviewed afterwards. And I saw this morning. I like to watch the evil other side, so I know what the enemy's thinking. But I was watching Morning Joe this morning, and they had John Solomon on right after the speech, and he acknowledged that there is no intelligence indicating that a single vote was flipped in the 20, 22, or 24 election cycles. This is John Solomon. I had dinner with him 3 years ago, at CPAC. It's for him to say that right after the president's speech is surprising.
That is surprising.
Yeah,
because he says he's got hard proof now.
He should have mentioned some of it last night.
Well,
I believe it because I've said it a million times since then. I was on the 2020 campaign. We campaigned for the president.
Did you not think it was a fraud?
I did, and I still do, but I
still do too.
Yeah, we were campaigning for the president in Pennsylvania for 2 weeks, And everywhere you went into, there were all kinds of Trump signs and people lining the streets cheering when we drive into town on the Team Trump bus. No Biden signs anyplace. On election night, I'm sitting up watching the returns with Patty. At about 11 o'clock at night, we're 600,000 votes ahead in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I said, well, hell, I'm going to bed. We wasted those 2 weeks. Exactly. This is going to be a blowout. Get up the next morning, they call it for Biden. So yeah, I think there was some fraud. The fact that no one in 6 years has been able to come up with a proof of it is a frightening thing.
Yeah, look, it's a tough thing to do to get some information and proof. That's what you know that you're a lawyer. It's not easy. I mean, I was looking at this like you and said, "There's no way."
Yeah.
Oh, when it happened.
One of the things that he read last night was one of the reports in Venezuela where they said that the hacking was done in such a way that even with a full audit, you couldn't detect it. And so, if this is his way of saying, we know that the capacity existed to do it, we believe that it happened, but it was so cleverly done, we cannot prove it. That's one thing. But he
never said that we can't prove it, did he?
No, he did not. But he said that in reference to the reading something about the Venezuela presidential election. But here's the thing. After the election and up through Inauguration Day, we were still acting as Trump surrogates. So we're getting daily and then later on semi-daily and then weekly briefings from the White House. And I'm sworn to secrecy on what was said. But I can tell you this, generally, that we were told that there was significant evidence of voter fraud and that it would be coming out shortly. Well, it's 6 years later, and I'm still waiting to see. I believe it too, just like you do. I believe it wholeheartedly. I don't know why we have not seen any significant evidence of it. Now Sidney Powell will tell you that there's tons of evidence of it, and that she's uncovered tremendous volumes of voter fraud. But I have not seen it myself.
Well, you remember Barr, who was in the AG? He comes out in December the 1st, not even a month after the election, and says, "Oh, there was no cheating."
Yeah,
he's Trump's AG, and how would he know there was no cheating?
Well, and here's the thing, right?
Do any investigations? Did he?
Well, and this was let's go forward 6 years to the Charlie Kirk assassination or the Butler shooting of President Trump. After the most cursory of all possible investigations, the FBI said, there's nothing to see here. We know the answer. We don't have to look anywhere. Let's destroy all the evidence and go forward. And so, shoot, I'll go one conspiracy theory even further. And that's Lindsey Graham's untimely death, where he allegedly died of a dissecting aorta. And I've had dissecting aorta cases. I'm familiar with the medicine. But when you die of a dissecting aorta, it's pretty stinking obvious on autopsy, and you don't have to have 20 FBI agents raid your house to figure out why you died. And yet there they were.
Well, why wouldn't you have 20? I mean, there's always suspicions in these things.
Yeah, well.
And in terms of Charlie dying, I mean, the guy that's in jail, Tyler Robinson, has confessed on film at least 4 different times.
Yeah,
he's confessed to it, and you're saying that this still is a setup?
Well, I got to tell you that if you take a look at a Mauser 98, and you take a look at the size of the backpack Tyler Robinson allegedly had, because you see him walking stiff-legged down the road. So they say, "Oh, he's got the rifle in his pant leg." Well, he can't because it would be sticking out the bottom. But so they say he took it partially apart. Then he climbs up the stairs, and you can see him with his knees bending. So he's got no rifle barrel, even a barrel in his pant leg. Right?
He was limping.
Well, not up the stairs. He's not up the stairs. He's not.
I thought I saw him limping.
Climbing the stairs with his knees bent. He then goes up to the roof. This is the official story. Puts his rifle back together. Puts the scope on it.
Yeah.
Takes off one shot that miraculously hits Charlie Kirk at that distance. Then he takes his gun apart, puts it back in his backpack, which it won't fit in anyway, jumps off the roof, runs across the street to the woods, puts his gun back together, except he left his screwdriver on the roof.
Yeah.
Puts his gun back together and leaves it for the cops to find, right? Although it's already taken apart and put in his backpack if he wanted to go undetected. Then he says in those emails that he allegedly has with his boyfriend, right, or girlfriend, however you call a transsexual guy, saying, "Oh, I'm still here. I'm going to go back and see if I can get my gun before the cops find it." Right? Well, if it's been disassembled in your backpack, which it can't be because it's too big, you don't have to put it back together and then leave it for the cops and then complain that you got to go back and get it so the cops don't find it. That scenario.
You're talking about a trans idiot. That's what you're talking about. And nobody claimed this guy was the first in his class at Harvard. I mean,
no,
dumbass.
If he was first in his class at Harvard, he'd hate guns and wouldn't know where to find one.
Yeah, he would. And these days they'd find the guns.
Yeah, but anyway,
they'd go after the Jews.
You mentioned that you owned a paving company.
Yes.
The guy who was hired to do the paving was called on a Sunday morning and said, "We have a paving emergency. You have to come here now and pave this." He had his crew gone. Couldn't use his crew because they were all out for the weekend hunting and fishing. And so he got some stand-in crew, and he comes and does the paving emergency. Well, they'd already removed 8 inches of topsoil, and then he did his paving emergency. And he's told at the scene that the FBI and the governor instructed this paving emergency, right? What possible reason would there be to have the governor and the FBI instruct that a crime scene be destroyed? I mean,
I'm sure you have the answer. I don't know.
I don't have any answer. The closest I come to an answer is what Joe Kent said, and that was that what the uniform policy of the powers that be is now is that they don't give you any answers. They give you inconsistent or impossible or implausible solutions so that the crazies out there like you and me speculate wildly about what really happened. Those wild speculations can be easily debunked. And then the public says, okay, well, all these crazies made this stuff up, so we'll go with the official story. Or we'll just conclude that everybody's lying to us and we don't know what happened.
So tell me about the new head of the DOJ. What do you think about him?
Oh, Todd Blanche?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a solid guy. I like him. While he was sitting there in front of the Senate, I texted him and I said, I'm proud of you to be willing to put on the heavy burden of public service, and I hope you get confirmed. He wrote back, "Thank you." He's a solid guy. I like him.
Yeah, it seems that way to me, and he nailed these guys.
Oh, he did.
He was everything you'd want in a DOJ head, an AG. And I thought he handled these guys really good. He wasn't obnoxious or anything. But when they went completely overboard, like Schiff did.
Yeah, or Hirono.
Yeah. Oh, well, the crazy lady? Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, my God. She was reading something. She didn't know what the hell she was saying. They gave it to her, and I'm surprised she actually got through it.
Yeah, took her a while. Took her a few tries at it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that impressed me the most about Todd Blanche. They tried to trip him up by asking him about specific cases, Supreme Court cases, and specific litigation, and he knew it. And then there was one litigation where he was not familiar with, and says, "I don't know anything about that. I'll take a look at it." Right? Yeah. I mean, he wasn't blowing smoke at all.
Well, yeah. Do all of them go in there blowing smoke?
A lot of them do.
Well, but what happened to Bondi, for God's sake? She screwed up, didn't she?
Yes, she did. She did.
She said she promised all this information, and then weeks and weeks and weeks go by and nothing happens.
Well, you can't say that I've got the Epstein files on my desk and then say there are no Epstein files. You can't say it's all A. I'm sorry, it's all B. Oh, gee, I forgot what lie I was supposed to tell you today. That just doesn't fly.
Okay, lawyers are supposed to be much smarter than this, aren't they? You're a lawyer, and you're a smart guy. You think you are, anyways. You're a very smart guy, and you expect in that position they'll be smart enough to understand that's stupid and wrong.
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? I'm not a lawyer. Why do I understand this?
Well, because the thing that you have to take into consideration is that here you are, you're in a position of responsibility where you've probably repeater principled out as a attorney general of a state, and now you're attorney general for the United States. You're under tremendous pressure because the public wants to know the truth. The billionaires that are going to get burned by the truth want more than anything in the world for that information not to come out. And in the world these days, people end up like dead, like the woman that died immediately after her book on Epstein was released. But in a world where billionaires have absolute power and virtual immunity, you got to be a little cautious about what you say. And maybe your brain turns off and you say, holy, you know what? I'm screwed if I do and I'm screwed if I don't. And so I'm going to have to maybe say A today and B tomorrow and hope people don't hold me too responsible for it. But, she got burned. And I guarantee you she's going to end up on the board or CEO of some major corporation making $10 million a year.
Probably. Just like you. Anyways, I see your name on here for some reason. Go to the clips here that we're getting in. Not the clips, but the comments. Yeah. John Jeffrey Bradshaw. What the hell is he doing? Good stuff, Mark. Oh, I got to talk to him. All right. Give me some of the other ones, too, because I got to get through these somehow. Christopher Ramsey. Hey, forget about it. I got to say something. Has anyone noticed that over the years, the standards in the motion picture ratings have changed? For example, some of those movies that are released, ones that should be are PG. Then the ones that should be PG are G. The standards have definitely changed, and not for the better. Everybody be safe. I don't know why he wrote this to you, but apparently you're responsible for this.
I guess I'm overrated today. As long as I avoid being X-rated, I'm okay.
We have a couple of really long ones, but I'm not going to do that. Hell, it's hard enough talking to you because you're so smart. So now here's going to be a controversial one with you. I know it's going to be, and you're not going to like it. Probably. I don't know. Maybe you will. Glenn Beck, you know Glenn Beck, perchance?
I've met him. I don't know him personally.
Yeah. I think he's pretty good. I got clips of him saying what's going on right now with the religions and the right and the left coming together to kill the country, basically. Church and swamp together. But anyways, Glenn Beck has pegged Candace Owens as not telling people that on her vacation to communist Russia, she'll be speaking. Do you know anything about that? She's going to be speaking.
Yeah.
About Andrew Alexander something or other. He's called Putin's brain. That's his nickname. And he's a really big communist, and he's got these theories. And she's going to do a speech in front of apparently what she loves now is Putin and Russia.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the topic of her speech. Obviously, I've not talked to her. I've met her once in my life. Although I certainly like what she is uncovering on the Erica Kirk end. But I know nothing about it.
You talk about having no proof, though. I mean, she's got the questions that you're asking, but she's got no proof of anything.
What she's got, though, is the inconsistencies in the timeline and people who are giving alleged firsthand knowledge who on one program will say X, another program will say Y. They say where they were when it's proven that they weren't there. The guy who claims that he changed his clothes and jumped up on the gurney and was doing CPR and Charlie Kirk and all this kind of stuff that just, probably more probably than not, as we say in my profession, did not happen, would not happen, could not happen. So that she has been fairly good about providing the documentary evidence for what she says. Now, as what actually happened, and there's all this speculation about the exploding microphone or the palm gun or all these other things. I don't know what the answer to that is. My wife's a big advocate of the exploding microphone theory. I can tell you this, that they've now released video from behind him, and you can see no exit wound. And if you're getting shot in the neck with a 30-06, that bullet's not going to that bullet's going to come out the other side of you. And there was no evidence of that. And so, it's once, and then there's no blood in the truck. I mean, holy, you know what? When you get shot in the carotid artery, it spouts out like a fountain. And everybody, Charlie Kirk would have been soaked in blood. The car would
was he shot from the front or the back?
Yes, good question. And the theory is he was shot from the front, but then you'd have an exit wound in the back, and you'd have a bullet someplace.
Well, where was Tyler, whatever his name is? Where was he at?
That I can't tell you.
A back shot or a front shot?
My wife lives and breathes the Charlie Kirk assassination, and she knows all the names and all the details. All I know is that the current theory is that he's wearing a microphone here inside his shirt, and he gets hit here with the exploding mic. Now, my concept, my concern about that is he's wearing a floppy T-shirt, and he's all over the place, right? So let's say he's got a microphone here, and he's flopping around. You can't be certain that whatever comes out of this end of the microphone is going to hit him. Might go over his shoulder, might go up his chin. The likelihood that it's going to hit something vital and fatal seems to me to be fairly unlikely, but it's as good as the rest of the theories out there. It's better than Mr. Robinson putting a scope on a rifle a couple of 100 feet away and being able to take that shot when he had, allegedly had no practical experience.
So what does he get out of this, assuming that it's a fake and he was the main actor in it?
Now I'll go crazy theory number next. Back when I was a young lawyer, I used to get a bunch of clients coming in wearing, tinfoil under their hats, the old tinfoil hat statement. The government had a program going on in Long Island to brainwash people and control them remotely, mind control experiments. That went offline for a while. And then I started getting, in maybe 10 years, I got no clients with tinfoil. And then all of a sudden, my clients show up with tinfoil under their hats again. And guess what? I did a little research, and the government was starting their mind control program again. And these people would all say the same thing. The government's putting thoughts into my brain. Well, I don't know the answer to this stuff. It's all pretty far-fetched. But I'll know that if the government could brainwash people, they would. And if people could use...
what do you mean they would? They do, anyways.
Of course they do. Look at you and me. I was thinking this last night.
Okay.
That what if our entire culture, what if the way we're raised, what we're told to believe in, and what we're told to do is, well, of course, this socialization process is all a matter of brainwashing us, teaching us not to be the barbaric animals that human beings are by nature, teaching us to be civilized. That's a form of brainwashing, because we're not out there being vicious animals anymore, mostly, unless you happen to be Benjamin Netanyahu, but we won't talk about that.
Stop. You had to throw that. Okay, I'm throwing in the next one here.
All right.
I've got another question about your buddy and your good friend, Tucker Carlson. And they're both in the news. Tucker, though, has gone from anti-Muslim to building a house in Qatar. Can you explain that?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I've never been to Qatar, but I understand it's a beautiful place, or at least it was before it's maybe started getting bombed.
Well, now it's getting bombed by Iran.
Yeah. So, it's. I know that it's a place where the rich and famous like to go and recreate. So I'm not terribly surprised.
He changed his story from being fine with the Muslims, and then all of a sudden he's pro-Muslim, and he quits the Democratic Party Republican Party.
Yeah,
and he becomes a Democrat.
Yeah, well, I might join his party. What do I know?
Oh my God!
Yeah, well, it's hard to want to be part of a party that, for example, murders schoolgirls and refuses to acknowledge it, or
Yeah, I've heard this. I've still never seen it. Never seen it. And my question on that, you're talking in the Strait of Hormuz, whatever.
168 schoolgirls on the first day of the war.
Why were they there? They didn't have any inclination of anything?
Well, it was, if the most generous thing you could say about our government is that the school is in a place that used to be part of the military complex, but is no longer. And so maybe you can say they're using outdated information, and that's why they launched the rocket into that school.
Okay, these are India girls, right? They're from India, right?
I hadn't heard that. No, I don't know that.
Where is Modi, if that's the case? And he's very, very close to becoming a Abraham Accord in India.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of Indians, and they really like Mr. Modi.
Yeah,
but he's a strong nationalist, and I he's a strong advocate for his people. Yeah. I wish our current government was a strong advocate for our people. And now Marco Rubio announces this new international anti-far left terrorism program yesterday. Anytime the government announces a new program, it means less personal freedom, less privacy, and more government. And when you identify the enemy as this vague, amorphous, left-wing extremist terrorism, I got to say this. When I had my radio program, I put this up whenever I was talking about international terrorism. Your risk of dying in your car on the way home from this program is enormously, immeasurably greater than the risk of being killed by any kind of terrorism, except for 911. Yeah. The death rate in the United States from international terrorism is essentially zero, has always been essentially zero. And before the Patriot Act and after the Patriot Act, same thing, essentially zero. And so giving up all your constitutional rights and allowing a government to surveil everything you do and control everything you do and have these flock cameras throughout the United States observing everything you do and reporting it to the police departments everywhere and the government on the basis that it's going to save us from international terrorism is a complete and absolute lie, because there is no international terrorism that affects the United States citizens, you and me, on a day-to-day basis. And yet it gives the government tremendous power. It gives the government the plausible excuse to kill hundreds of people in boats off the coast of Venezuela when Venezuela does not export any fentanyl, but then they say it's to stop the flow of fentanyl in the United States, when everybody with eyes and ears knows that the fentanyl comes through Mexico, which we're not stopping. And I will
okay.
one more direction for my last few seconds here. After 911.
Yes, wait a minute. I never get to talk. I never
go ahead.
I never.
You sound just like my wife.
I never get to respond. No, this is my wife too, and she does the same thing to me. All right, damn it. You just came out of a thing in 2020 where you felt so threatened by these outside influencers like Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and you defended yourselves with guns. So you are one of very few in the world, apparently, that has this happen to him. But what a coincidence, right?
Yeah. Well, and of course, the answer to that is that we did defend ourselves. We did not rely on Big Brother. We didn't require Big Brother to be staring down our throats. And in fact, the government, specifically our government here in the city of St. Louis, specifically instructed the police to not respond.
Yes, I get that. Yes.
And so,
I get that. And so that means they were sponsoring terrorists into your home.
Yeah. And that's why you should not ever count on the government.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah. Dismissed, lack of evidence.
Yeah, BS. Sorry. As a courtesy to my audience, because I know it's going to take a long time, please limit where you can. Where can people find and hire you or Patricia?
Yeah, they should hire her because she's less winded than I am. They'll actually get a word in edgewise.
Yeah,
we're at McCloskeylaw.com is our website. I'm on X at McCloskey USA. On Rumble, or you can catch my old shows, Mark McCloskey on Fire. I've got some free time now. So if you guys, what I've done for a living for the last 40 years is mostly represent people with acquired brain injury, TBI caused by birth, medical malpractice.
That's terrible. Are you talking about me having that brain injury again?
Well, yeah, but yours is incurable. There's no hope for you.
I got just one last word for you. Strange is just another word for special. There you go. Come on.
There we go. All right.
How do you know from funny? All right.
Well, have Mr. Maxwell get in touch with me about how I can do this remote.
Yeah,
and we'll
there he is. He's right there, and he'll do it. Believe me.
Yeah, I see his ball cap.
Yeah, we'll get that figured out. Yeah, that's actually very easy to do now with technology.
Maybe we'll come up and also survey your farm.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
See how that plant's coming. That A1 plant's coming.
Yeah.
AI.
Here, I'll say something. The guy who's building selling his 680-acre farm for a data center, right?
Yeah.
He unfortunately passed away 2 days ago. LB Echo Camp, the lion of Franklin County. Tremendous loss, but also I was arguing vehemently against his AI center. So maybe he's found some truth in the last couple of days.
All right. I got to go. Thank you so much, Mark McCloskey. We're done.